welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on our Sunday tradition that continues on into our 15th season, bringing you sports news, whether it's us talking about sports, whether you bring sports, high school football, Saxy Mustangs, going to happen yet again this year, so I'm really excited about that. So other things that are coming along, as far as the Couch Potato Sports Show and myself, I got a big announcement I'm going to announce here before the end of our show. Something that happened in Vegas that is coming around. I wanted to talk to you about that as far as that is concerned. Also, would love to be able to thank our sponsors. Yes, our sponsors at Mint Mobile here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Make sure you check them out. Why? $15 a month. Don't forget about it. My first month, zero problems with mine. So check it out, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's the best deal that you could possibly get. And we thank them, of course, for their sponsorship here on the Couch Potato Sports Show and what we are doing from week to week to week. We'll see how this ends up working. If this is a good thing that continues on, we're going to do it. We got a couple more weeks with it, and then we'll revisit it and see what's going to happen. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We are set and ready to go as far as our show, and of course, the guy that is here. Sometimes it seems like, the guy is sick and he is still here. I got to give him props, because I'll tell you right now, if I was sick, I probably would not be here. That being said, of course, there he is, the Podfather. Good morning, Podfather. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling a little bit better than when I, kind of messaged you this morning about 7 o'clock.
Clearly, I'm a gamer.
Yes. Now, whether or not, how you're going to be here, I guess, is going to be the next story, then, right?
The what?
How you're going to be here for the next couple, couple hours.
I'm here until I kill over. So, what's good?
Well, the good thing is I do have, of course, I got an announcement of what we're going to, a special guests that we're going to bring up on the show. I'm going to give that to you here soon. I also have a, what do you say? I got my own opinion about indoor football that's going to be coming. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So you could probably sleep through that, and get my editorial on what's happening in the indoor football business right now. I'm going to be bringing that to you as well, as far as the show is concerned. But, interestingly enough, I want to talk, since you are here, I do want to talk about last night. I watched it last night. And I'm talking about WWE Backlash.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm watching it today.
Okay. So. All right. So we can't. I was going to say, let's not talk about the final match, because I haven't watched that part yet. But what I will tell you, and this happened when they went over to where was it? It wasn't Jamaica. It was
Scotland or the place over there in Europe.
No, when they went over to
Australia.
No, when they went over, what was Bad Bunny's country? I forget the country he's from. Yeah, where they went over there, and the crowd was just out of this world. When you get the opportunity to watch it, you're going to see it, and it started from the first match. Man, I'm telling you.
I saw Randy Orton come out to the ring, and the crowd was singing his song, which
it was amazing.
Yeah, and you know what, though? This tells you the difference between WWE and everybody else, because they have that kind of drawing power to where globally you can't touch them.
Yep.
And to do things outside their regular box that they normally do, where they conquer the States all year round, do a couple overseas tours, and that's it. Now it's all over the place. They're looking to do these PLE shows everywhere. And,
yes.
Maybe it started in Saudi Arabia, whatever. But now you've gone to Australia, you've gone to France, you've gone to you're going back to Scotland here pretty soon. I mean, you're hitting places that normally you don't put a pay per view event or PLE involved in. Now you're doing it, but you know what? It's such a money making deal for the actual city that gets you.
Absolutely.
WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas on April 19th and 20th of next year, my birthday
Yeah,
weekend.
May.
Yeah, huh?
Matter of fact, it's literally in 365 days. It's May
Yeah.
5th. So,
No. April 19th and 20th. They've already announced it. I've already seen the thing.
I thought I might have saw a meme then that was wrong then,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
no,
could have
no,
swore it
no,
was May.
no. It's
Oh,
gonna be on
okay.
my birthday weekend, and
Gotcha.
people are saying you're gonna go. I'm like, I've kind of been there, done that with the events. I know it's a different thing, but now it's to the point to where it's like going to the Super Bowl. It's so nuts,
It is.
and I don't want to be stuck in a world of nutty people,
No,
and
and not only that, you got a long way to walk to get to that stadium. It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium, and there's literally no parking there. So you have to either walk a long way or get an Uber to drop you off somewhere close near where they have
well,
drop-off points.
Vegas is notorious for taxis. I mean, so I don't know if they do that anymore, but I mean, they used to be. I mean, there were taxis at every fucking turn in Vegas. Every casino that you walk out of, there's 3 or 4 of them waiting for you.
Usually, but
Yeah.
and thinking of that, they're going to raise their rates during that time as well too, and that's one of my biggest complaints. Me and Lyft, we got into an argument about the price. I paid the price, but I let them know I wasn't very happy about it because it wasn't during a main time or whatever, but it literally cost me 3 times the amount to
Yeah.
go
Oh,
to the airport
price.
to my hotel than it was when I went through the hotel to the airport. So
Price gouging is the thing. I mean, we see it in gas. We see it in big events coming to your hometown. How they jack up the prices all
mhm.
and I understand this.
And
A
that's
lot
what
of
they're
these things.
doing with the NBA, with big game
Well,
players coming to the game. They up
but
those
you know what? Though,
prices
if
for
you
those
think about
tickets.
it, those stadiums rely on hotel tax,
Hmm.
taxes from certain aspects. So to raise the rates to help pay off that stadium a little bit quicker, that's why they bring
Yes.
in these big ass events. And
Yeah.
it's genius. It's genius because again, a 5% tax on hotels doesn't affect the taxpayer who's living there because they
Right.
live there. They don't have to go stay in a hotel. But those people are coming over there and then getting hit with that. That's all part of the price. And once
Yes.
again, if you want to see, like right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they might be searching for a new home right now
Yes.
because Kansas City, because
That was
Kansas City,
that voting thing that happened that
yeah,
they did not happen. And by the way, here's the proposed what they want to do. And by the way, guys, we did not get together before the show, and this just happened to be something that I found. And this is the kind of the model of what they want to do, which is really nice. And take a look at kind of how they want to do things in Kansas City. So I will say that if they, kind of do something like that, that's going to be an amazing thing. But that's also going to be a hefty price to pay to develop to make. And plus, it's a 3-year project to get it there. So they got 3 years to get that thing built up. So you're looking 2027, maybe even 28,
28.
depending on how it builds out. So,
Well,
you
it's
know,
gonna be interesting. It's interesting because like the Dallas mayor said, "Hey, y'all, come on back." You got no Jerry sitting there going, "No,
mm-hmm.
no." But here's the thing,
Yep.
though: Dallas can sit there and go, "No, we don't have a team, and we don't have an NFL team here. Yeah, we have
Mm-hmm.
one in Arlington, but I mean, they have our name. We don't have
Right.
one here. And would we build a new stadium for an NFL team to come down here and represent the AFC? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Now
That's,
that's also a mayor who doesn't know how the internet
yep.
works, the NFL works. But I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones will make sure that shit does not happen because he wants to be the only game in town. And unfortunately, I can't blame him on that because if you get someone else talking about another Dallas team in your city and at your team, and you are the highest gross team that's out there, even though you've been 28 years, you don't want to have that, especially a team that's come in and win the last 3 years. So
Definitely right. As far as whoa, hello, wait. NFL, it's kind of interesting. J.J. Watt has and this is not a done deal, but I want to tell you right now, folks that don't know about this situation, what J.J. Watts does for a Houston Texans area. This dude is an amazing dude to that city. He brings a lot of things. So there's an opportunity for JJ Watt to come back. Basically, picking and choosing, kind of cherry picking the team because of the success and because of who they got in as far as wide receiver for that football team and some other big things that are happening with the Houston Texans and what they are doing as a franchise moving forward. They are in a situation now where they are in a win now mode with a second year quarterback who had a great first season. So that was huge. So and that is something we are gonna talk about. And so Anthony, we're gonna come back to that. But as far as J.J. Watts and the Texans, you see, the difference between a Dallas Cowboys all in and a Houston Texans all in. You see the movements that the Houston Texans are making and the moves that the Dallas Cowboys are making. And oh, by the way, there was a picture put out. I don't know. They were showing Ezekiel Elliott, how he's working out and everything. I got the picture here. It is right there. He's looking really good for the season for the Dallas Cowboys. All set and ready to rock and roll.
That's why I'm on this show, sir, to marginalize what the hell you're trying to do.
Hey, I found that I cracked up. I thought that was the funniest thing, so I thought I'd bring that in. But anyway, big difference between the all-ins. I mean, from Houston compared to Dallas right now.
Time out. Here's the thing: Houston is all in for the next 2 years, because what they've got on a short-term deal right now. Okay, after 2 years, if this thing can't do what they're geared up to do, they're going to be in salary cap hell for a little bit.
That's true.
What happened to the Rams? So the thing is, and I hate to say it, I hope nothing but good things for Houston. I hate their new uniforms though. I love the color blue they're bringing in. I love the color blue they're bringing in, but it's all black. And I'm sorry, black on black does not work for jerseys. I'm sorry, I hate that.
Right.
But I'm like a jersey Nazi, I guess. But anyway, I think for the most part, Jerry Jones. Remember one thing about Jerry Jones, and when we can sit there and we can talk about all the stupid shit he says, he's selling his team. He is selling his team to the fans. That's all he's doing. He has to sell because he knows there are those fans out there, and there are a good portion of them out there. I'm not one of them, but there's a good portion of them out there that will buy everything that motherfucker says.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because he is the flagship of that team. Think about it, and I heard someone say this earlier today. Every NFL team out there has a face of the franchise,
Right.
But for the Cowboys, it's not Dak Prescott. It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's not Micah Parsons. It's Jerry Jones.
Yep.
And it's been that way for a long time. Now, it's one thing if he was a face of the franchise and they were winning on a constant basis, and regular season wins don't matter. If they're winning championships, they're winning Super Bowls, that'd be one thing. But instead, what you have is here is the face of the most successful financial team in the NFL, but but the line stops there because beyond that, they've only raised 5 championships in the last 50 years. They've only hosted 1 Super Bowl in their stadium, and let's face it, we don't see them in the final game or the final 4 games or the final 3 games at the end of the year like we would back in the 70s and sometimes in the 80s.
Question.
So, Jerry knows that. That's why he has to stay on top of it and be all in and be all this and all that and all this bullshit because he's got the bad thing is you still live in a society where there's a blackout rule. If you can't sell 75 to 80% of your tickets to your stadium, the NFL will sit there and go, your home audience and get to watch y'all.
Actually, it's 95. So
95.
so that you know, it's 95% of the stadium has to be sold.
Yeah. So once again, you're not going to get 95,000 fans or 90% of the fans. That's where corporate sponsors come in. That's where selling off hundreds of bundles of tickets to Pepsi or Nike or whoever else is going to come in and rake up all that shit. That's where that works.
Especially national sponsors. Especially them.
Well, I just said Pepsi and Nike, they're national. So, yeah. So, I mean, he has to sell that to him. He has to. Because if he sat there and the president says, well, we're not really all that great right now. And you know what? We're going to need some rebuilding, some time to take a step back and do what we got to do. Those fans that he has sat there and preached nothing but all into will suddenly go, well, shit, I'm not going to go pay tickets. I'm not going to go pay those kind of prices to go sit there. And I'll just try to sit home and flip a coin if I'm going to get to watch the game or not. Or go to the sports bar where they're going to have the game being played. I mean, there's other opportunities, hell, in the streaming world that we live in, you can find the game on your phone.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah.
And
world's changed. World's changed when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Once the Cowboys lose that kind of spotlight, you don't get the Romos and the Nances calling the game. You don't get the 18 for Fox coming to call the game. You won't be on Monday Night Football that much, and you will not have the national spotlight put on you on big games. The only thing you'll have is your Thanksgiving game, and that is your one time to show the world who will be watching, because there's nothing else to watch at that point, either how good or how bad you are.
Absolutely.
In the last couple of years, they've demonstrated how bad they can be. So,
yep.
I mean, I'm a realist when it comes to that shit, so I know.
But take away from that. Sorry, I pushed that button. I didn't mean for it to come up. But that being said, that's the name of the show. The button I meant to push was this one. I mean, we're talking about Houston, but look what the Bills did. They're going to carry a dead cap money of $31 million next season, and it's the largest dead money charge for a wide receiver in NFL history. I mean, they did a lot and paid a lot just to get rid of Stephon Diggs. I mean, so there's some big money that is being poured to get rid of players. I mean, so we're missing a story here.
No,
I mean, we are really missing a story here.
It's really simple. He wanted out of Buffalo.
Yeah,
he wanted out of the cold ass state of Buffalo, New York, and quite frankly, maybe he's not bought into the Josh Allen experiment. Maybe he's not bought into their offense, and now he's going to Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Houston's got a lot more
into a second year rook, basically a rookie quarterback.
But once again, momentum. Where's momentum? More's with Houston.
Absolutely.
So he went where the momentum went. And you know what? He was free to go.
Yep.
And Buffalo on their own brand took it upon themselves. That's what's going to hamper Josh Allen going forward right now. They won't have the money to bring in players to make him better.
Josh Allen's going to have to definitely find somebody to throw the football to. There, no question. You lose your number one.
Or he better have a hell of a running back there.
Absolutely. And we all know what's going on as far as running backs are concerned right now in the NFL. They're just
I mean, look at the NFL draft. Cowboy fans are suddenly going, all right, well, we got a running back on the board. Why don't we take him? Well, because we can get undrafted running backs for a dirt ass price. We just brought back Ezekiel Elliott to sit there and run for 1 yard every carry. So
absolutely.
So I mean,
that's what they got, right? I mean, here's your guy. You're getting the one.
Okay. The 1 yard. You know what? You're being unfair, sir. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's excited. You're talking about a guy who's excited about being back in Dallas, excited being around his guy again. And you know what? Maybe he hasn't earned that right in your eyes, but at the same time, he's only there to be, a third down back who's going to get you 2 or 3 yards at best. He's not going to get you a 20-yard carry. He is
I'm
not
telling
gonna
you
get,
right now.
he's
I'm
not gonna
telling
get
you
around
right
there.
now. They
Before you
should have
tell me
never
right
got. They should have never got rid of the running back and put them back
Troy-
together because
Troy Pollard?
during go back 2 to 3 years, and his name slipped on my mind. I'm sorry, but 2 to 3 years
Pollard.
ago, yes, Pollard. Between the 20s, Pollard's it's hard to stop. And that's what they did is they had Ezekiel Elliott to bring it in and get into the end zone. It is what they should have continued to do, and they didn't do it. And that's where they're sitting right now.
Honestly, I don't think Troy Pollard was right this year at all. And I don't think taking Zeke out of the equation was. I think the injury had a lot to do with it.
I think it did too.
So I think the fact that you're taking on a guy who may or may not still have it, and the knees are the first things to go with a running back. Honestly, getting rid of him and he's now someone else's problem. I mean, look, it is what it is. Okay, it
wasn't even a problem. And that's the part I'm not getting. And now, since you get Ezekiel Elliott back, you don't have Tony Pollard between the 20s. You don't know who you got between the 20s, and that's going to be the biggest problem for that. Well, one of the problems with the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of them lined up. But that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. The fine co-host is joined.
Can't see me.
If I'm not up at the crack of dawn, here I am, afternoon, 10 o'clock in the morning in Cali. Oh, let me switch that. I got the wrong one up there. That's the one I didn't pick. Bang! How you doing? Good to see you. Now I can see you. Now I can see it. How you doing, Cuervo? Good morning.
Guys, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. Now, just to let you know, if you hear the cat going in the back or you see him in the back, that's Mama's cat. We brought him in, so she's still kind of getting used to the place, so she might get in and around here. Normally, the other two cats leave me the heck alone, so this one here is still trying to find it. But that being said, one of the what was that?
The Sonny's got pussy on the loose.
Something like that. All right. So, hey, by the way,
I said you got pussy on the loose, sir.
Kind of breaking news. JJ Watt says that he's absolutely. He said I'd return to play if the Texans absolutely needed it. So I'm going to ask Cuervo: do the Texans need it?
No, they signed Danielle Hunter. Why would they need another pass?
That's what I don't know. Unless they're just doing it to put asses in the seats, which he can do.
I don't think they're going to have a problem selling tickets, Sonny. I mean, they've got their quarterback in place now. They're not going to have a problem selling tickets. It just, he would be like a second reason to go to a Texans game or a third reason. He's not going to be the number one reason. So,
right.
But yeah, I saw that yesterday, and I thought it was like a joke type of rumor, but apparently it's real.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, they got Danielle Hunter. I can't remember who they have on the other side of the D line opposite Hunter, but I mean, they brought that guy in to be their guy to get to the quarterback. So, I don't know. I don't know if business isn't doing too well for him, but. Or it could just be that he's missing the game, but I'm not sure. I mean, and I bring that up because, that's great. That's awesome to hear that he wants to come back and play. I mean, is his body going to be able to handle it?
He's probably not going to be one of those guys that'll end up coming in, during, training camp and everything. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you the pictures. Ezekiel, he's getting ready for the season right there. It looks pretty good, ready to rock and roll, to get going. I just wanted you to take a look at that. That was, one of the things, but
I can see it. I can tell.
Right. But I obviously, since we weren't on last week, I appreciate everybody's thanks for the messages, condolences for my mother-in-law.
So
very much
doing better.
Yeah. That and the wife is definitely doing it. And the kid, like I said, we'll see a kitty probably, or you'll hear her. She's, just getting used to the new home and all. But we missed that. We got the draft, and so and since you are here, Cuervo, I want to go ahead and I want to hop into this because it is about what's going on as far as the Bears are concerned, and I think it's interesting. Here's your guy bearing down. You got your quarterback now, Cuervo. I see. Now, I gotta say, I'm not really understanding what everybody is all upset about as far as the finger. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just used to it because I have a family member that paints his nails and he does. So I guess I'm kind of immune to it and everything. But man, we still got the big problem with I guess I'll just say it's stupid fans, making their opinions be made. I don't give a rat's what he does that way. I'm all about what he's going to do year one. Will he produce and will he help that football team win? That obviously being your Chicago Bears. So how are you feeling? Because you got a pretty good defensive player as well. With that number 9 pick, if I'm not mistaken, too.
No, so actually they drafted a wide receiver, Rome Odunze.
Wide receiver, I meant. Yeah, wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. So, listen, I mean, how as a Bears fan, how can you not like what they did overall in the draft, let alone round 1? Real quick though, on this whole Caleb, painting his nails thing, there's reasons behind it, and I'm not going to go into all of that, but just know that his mother owns a nail salon, and there's more meaning to it. That's just the surface of it, but it's funny that people in Chicago, of all places, are criticizing this kid for fingernail painting. I seem to remember a guy in the 90s, Sonny, that came to Chicago who was a little eccentric, and they started winning and people loved him.
Yeah.
Punky QB? That? Do you remember that?
Punky QB? Yeah, Punky QB, right?
In the 90s. So I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls. Jordan comes back.
Oh, Bulls, yes, Rodman, yeah.
Comes back. There you go. They need a rebounder. They go and they get Dennis Rodman. Everybody's like, whoa, that freak. He colors his hair. Oh, my God. But then they start winning, and people are like, all right, yeah, I kind of like this. So it's just going to take time for those meatball Bear fans to get on board. If he starts winning, obviously that's the biggest thing, right? He's got to start winning. And like, they haven't won anything yet, but if he starts collecting wins and they're in the playoffs and stuff, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, Sonny, you can mark it down. Today's May 5th. If the Bears make the playoffs, I'll paint my fingernail. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. Get the Bears in the playoffs, I'll paint my fingernail.
Anything, yeah, right? Yeah, yeah. But you've seen that, and then of course the wide receiver that they went out and got not on this list as well, Cuervo. But I'm telling you right now, you've got some good stuff coming your way. I love DeAndre Swift, the pickup for the Bears for at the running back position, and the main reason he's a dual type of guy that can block and also get out in on the third downs. I'm loving that pick. And Keenan Allen, I mean, if he decides that he's not going to be injured, I think he could be a pretty good guy for you. You got to look out for the injuries for Keenan Allen. And as far as but interestingly enough, I saw this a little bit earlier too. I mean, looking at the college, comparisons of, one Patrick Mahomes, who's now a 3-time Super Bowl winner, Caleb Williams, and what he did during his time. If you're looking at the numbers and you're seeing them, you're going, who was better? So I can see where the excitement is coming from as far as bringing on the Caleb Williams aspect of, what can possibly be, on the comparison, but you also got to remember they played in different conferences as well, two total different types of conferences. I don't know if you can kind of compare a Patrick Mahomes more so than Caleb Williams. What's your take? Because you're a college guy, in looking at those two conferences that they played in, which one was better? Which one was harder to get wins in, and things of that sort? What's your look on that?
Well, I would say that I don't know. It's tough because you go back and you look at what the Big 12 was back when Mahomes was at Texas Tech. Texas and Oklahoma, were there. I want to say not that Nebraska was any good back then, but I think they were still in the conference. But and then you look at what the Pac-12 is with Oregon and Washington. Colorado, they were playing well at the beginning of the season with Deion at coach. So yeah, I mean UCLA is always the big rival too over there at USC, up in LA. But I think the reason that you hear these comparisons, Sonny, it's not stat wise, it's their playing style.
Right.
That's what you compare. You compare the way they move in the pocket, the way they throw on the run, the way they're able to extend plays and get away from pass rushers and stuff like that. And even take it a step further, some of the arm angles that Caleb uses to make throws is similar to what Mahomes does. So
Absolutely.
That being said, name of the show, that doesn't mean he's going to become Patrick Mahomes. It just means that, hey, their playing style is similar. And so, again, people are all like, oh, he's not Mahomes. Nobody's saying he's Mahomes. And I've heard a lot of people too say, if you really want to take a look at, he plays a lot like Aaron Rodgers too, which is his favorite quarterback.
Yes,
which makes me puke a little bit in my mouth, but that it is what it is. So, but if he can produce results like Aaron Rodgers, I'm cool with that.
Absolutely. And there's a lot to do. Yes, I'm passing it around. It's funny. It makes me laugh, so I'm passing that around. So interestingly enough, where the Bears are, obviously they had to get rid of their guy that they had, that Justin Fields, and new news that's coming out. And I don't know if you can. I mean, this is Ari. Ari's got some respect on his name. So first of all, I want to throw that out here. So I know you can hear a lot of things about a lot of people in this league, but Ari's got some respect slapped up on his name, whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent, as far as that is concerned. But I will say this, I don't know. There's something amok about that. If there's some truth to this, Cuervo, I think there's something amok going on in Pittsburgh. If there's any truth to this, I don't know. What's your takeaway from that?
Well, I mean, I just think this is just because of the new kickoff rule, the new formation that they're doing, and they just want a guy that can has got some speed and can break tackles and things like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's something that they see at quarterback that they're like, oh boy, what did we do here? Or it's just simply, hey, he's still going to be the backup, but we're also going to use him in special teams because of the new kickoff rules and the new kickoff format that's coming out. Starting next season. So, I mean, people are going to say what they want to say, and that. Oh, I guess we'll see. Maybe it's going to be a smart move on the Steelers' part to use them in special teams. But
so I just found it interesting. I saw it there. So Podfather, I wanted to get your take up on the Patrick Mahomes.
Bryce was here.
Say again.
I said, I wish Bryce was here to give his opinion.
Oh, God, yes. I wish he would. Maybe we'll get lucky. He'll get in there. But Podfather, I mean, Mahomes Williams comparison. I think it's just way too early. In reality, I don't give a rip what they did in college because this is a total different game. But what's your take when you take a look at something like that? I mean, those numbers are quite impressive. What you're getting from Caleb Williams and things of that sort. But I think it's going to be all about adjusting to the NFL in reality, like it is for any quarterback that's going to try to make a name for himself.
Well, let's see how quickly Williams takes to adjust into the NFL first before we start making comparisons, because it didn't take Mahomes that long.
No, it didn't.
I'm not gonna tackle that one at all because, again, like you said, what you do in college and what you do in the pros, two different things.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just see what happens moving forward with them. And I'm sorry, my voice is kind of.
Yeah, seeing the voice, and by the way, if you have to bail, Podfather, because you're just not going to make it, just you don't need to let us know.
Sure, I have to because you've already shown that damn Ezekiel Elliott picture 3 different times already and sent it to our group. Clearly, somebody that keeps your ass in line because Cuervo ain't gonna do it.
Not gonna do what?
Cuervo sometimes will. It just depends on his mood.
I mean, if Zeke's signed with the Bears, he'd be all over your ass on that one.
Yeah. So, but that being said, as we move on here, I want to keep it in your division, Cuervo. NFC Central, okay, now has yet another new quarterback, and I don't know. I see this guy was the guy that was getting that last minute push, right, Cuervo? Is this guy going to be the guy? Lots to talk about as far as the guy that's going to do it. And I will tell you, J.J. McCarthy was one of these guys that was getting lots of talk. And I was watching a video of O'Connell and during the time, and it seemed like he was happy. This guy slid to the Minnesota Vikings, and a lot of love. Go ahead there, Podfather. You got your hand up.
Yeah, there's no NFC Central anymore, sir.
Say again?
There's no NFC Central anymore. It's the NFC North.
It is the North now.
That's what I meant. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the North. So another team within the North. Thank you for
we'll need false information on this show.
I just got my mind on it, but Minnesota trying to make. I've been hearing the comparison that he might not be as flashy, and it kind of quote unquote reminds everybody of a Tom Brady. I hate when they do that kind of thing. They get to that stupid comparison. But man, I will tell you, it seemed to me that O'Connell was really happy that JJ fell to him. What's your take up on him? And I mean, we're gonna have a great quarterback duel going on right there from Chicago and Minnesota.
Just gonna give it the Bryce look. Why? Because he went to Michigan. We're gonna compare. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes.
So we're gonna compare JJ McCarthy to Tom Brady because he went to Michigan, right? Is that what it is?
He went earlier in the rounds too, man. So.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think O'Connell was excited because they basically fell to him. I mean, they moved up one spot to get him. Yeah, which I think they could have not traded at all and still got him. I don't think the Jets were going to take a quarterback. So I mean, you never know. I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to pan out personally.
Okay.
But, you never know. You never know what that's going to look like. But I would say, as far as rookies, it's Caleb and McCarthy. We can't forget about the other two guys. Those other two guys are the ones you're trying to chase in the division. So
right.
I just look at when it comes to the Vikings, and I got a lot of buddies that are Vikings fans. What else did they do to improve that roster? What else have they? So they go out and they let Daniil Hunter walk, and then they turn around and they trade up to get Dallas Turner from Alabama, which I thought I didn't want to see that guy in that division unless he was a Bear, but now he's going to be a
Right.
Viking. So, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Minnesota's doing enough to improve their roster. I don't.
Right.
I mean, Aaron Jones, decent running back. I just don't know how much tread he's got left on him from all that time in Green Bay. So, but yeah, that'll be something to watch. Those two rookies playing each other twice next year, and we'll see who gets the better of who.
Yeah, I love the statement there. From Anthony, who's in our Pick'em League. But everybody looks good until they take that first NFL hit. It's all about the come to Jesus basically on your first Sunday. When you hit the field the first time, is huge. And interestingly enough, Richard Sullivan, another friend of mine who's popped on, basically the Bears have been told to pay for your own damn stadium. But interestingly enough, look at Kansas City. They lost the deal where the voters were going to help pay for a stadium. And this is the type of stadium that they were hoping they're trying to, kind of put together out there. So there's a new era. I mean, Kansas City winning 2 or 3 Super Bowls, you would think they'd be quite, excited about paying for that new stadium, and it doesn't seem like that they're excited about that at all. But it's because they're traditionalists and they love Arrowhead Stadium, and I kind of understand that because I love me some Arrowhead Stadium. But losing the vote to get the new stadium, how do you think that is going to affect the Kansas City Chiefs, if at all?
Well, they'll just move to the other side of the city on the Kansas side. That's something that I've heard, where they'll just move across the state line. Because for those who don't know, I mean, there might be people that don't know, Kansas City is split between the state of Kansas and the state of Missouri. So right now they're in Missouri, and it would just be as easy as moving to the Kansas side and find a place over there. Because you're dealing with a different state. So
can you imagine? Can you imagine Green Bay putting together a vote to have a new stadium to replace Lambeau Field?
I can't even imagine that.
Maybe remodel it, but not replace it.
Yeah. So I'm like, why not just remodel Soldier Field?
Well, that's the thing. They want that here. I can talk on this a little bit. The city doesn't want to pitch in. And normally that's what happens. The city will pitch in to get that done. And they're just not that's been Chicago. That's been Sonny knows this. That's the way that they do things over there in Illinois and in the city of Chicago. They will penny pinch every way they can. They will avoid trying to dish out any money. Those governors over there are and the mayor are just as crooked as other politicians in that state. So that's why I have a really good feeling, and Sonny knows where this is too. That stadium is going to the racehorse track in Arlington Heights. That's where the Bears are going.
Yep. Many afternoon there at that place, when I was a young man, when my dad used to, go there all the time. I used to love it. It's fun. I love that place.
Races and bet on horses.
Yeah. Well, my dad would make a bet for me when I was too young to bet. So I had some skin in the game, when I was a young kid, and I always, it was a show bet. I never bet the winner, but when I was younger, I always bet the show. So I had the 1, 2, or 3 chance of winning, and my dad would give me the earnings. That's just kind of funny, even though I didn't put up the money.
Speaking of show bets, Sonny.
Hey.
I'm going with this.
Yeah, I know, and you keep going, and you keep mentioning that. I'll extend it out another week. So, but no. you know what happened that prevented that from happening. So we're going to push it back 1 month. So because I want to because I want to be on the show for 4 weeks in a row because I don't want to have the Hulk Hogan looking for forever. So, but that being said, of course, that's well, no, it might look better. Hell, who knows?
I mean, Cuervo, what's going to happen first? I'll get my plaque that I won the Pick'em League last year, or he'll die of the beard first.
You'll probably get the bet taken care of before the plaque because. Go ahead, there, Cuervo.
I'm going to take the long shot. I'm going to say neither one happens.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to say one of them happens.
Hey, you're not the only one. Tarvin had to wait, so you wait too.
But we all know one thing. We know one thing. If Bryce would have won, he'd have gotten that the next week.
That might be. That might have happened that way. Yes.
Hold on a second, guys. I think I'm missing something here. So what exactly? I know Sonny's got to do the Hogan, the Hollywood.
He beat me in the pick'em. He beat me in the pick'em.
Like more than one episode?
No.
It's for a month.
Yeah, but how long you got to get the Hogan look?
For a month.
Four shows.
So here's an idea.
Shows.
Here's an idea then, and obviously it's up to Trey because he won the bet and it's his call. But so in July when we do the division breakdowns, Trey, do you think you'd be willing to wait until then? Because we're gonna do 4 shows in a row when we're breaking all the divisions down.
This is true.
You'd be willing to do?
I don't trust July though. I don't trust Sonny to sit there and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm not feeling really good today. I'm not going to do the show."
No. One thing that unless there is a life-changing thing, I'm going to be there for those shows. Those are what we do.
Hey, honestly, I think for every month that he doesn't do it, we add a week.
Well, but that's not going to happen because I have full control over that. So no, I will stick with the 4 and do it.
But do you understand this? So here was a bet though, and I'm a Cuervo if he knew the entire bet. If he beat me in the picks for 1 year from the time that his season would have ended, I'd have had to start growing my hair out.
Well,
I would have had to have done that.
No one would have known for 2 months because it would take a little bit to take 2 months for you to get a little hair out of that. So
I would know that'd be driving me crazy. So the thing is that for starting from the time the season ended till the time that by the time a year had gone by, I've had to grow my hair out. You
just would have had to start whenever you start growing it out. That's all that would have happened. You don't make a stretch on something that I'm going to take care of. So don't worry about it. By the way, you got pinned out up on the. Well, no, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, all right. So that being said, I don't know if all that know. In February, I went to Las Vegas. Had for a couple of days to spend a little time with my family, and I met an Australian band there who was warming up, and they were getting ready for the rugby season in Australia, and they are having their it's kind of like a showcase game in Las Vegas, and they opened up on Fremont and had a thing band that is a 5-time platinum selling band in there. Their name is called Shepherd. If you know any song like a song called Hey Geronimo, Hey Geronimo, they're the ones that it's the only one I ever heard of, and I've never heard of them, and my daughter really liked them. But we are going to get them up on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about them, opening up and the rugby and everything else for them. So we're going to bring them on. 5-time platinum band Shepherd. They got a new album that's going to be coming out here soon as well. We're going to bring them on, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they did in Las Vegas for that rugby thing, and then of course some of the things. So that's one of our big announcements. We're going to where I'm working right now back to get that set up to where they got time. and it might be pre-recorded, it might be live. It just all depends upon the timing on what they are doing and when they're going to do it. So I wanted to get that out there. It's going to be really interesting. Plus, I'm going to go see them on June 2nd. I'm going to go see them. I'm all excited about that. So June 2nd, our Sunday show will not air. We might do a Saturday show. But June 2nd, we will not be on air because I'm going to actually go see them in concert. So we won't be doing a show that day. So just a programming note.
So just so we're clear about this, you're not doing the Hogan beard on in June. Gotcha. Okay.
Don't worry about your bet. I told you I will do it, and I will do it. Just as much as I'm getting more crap from you than I did from Tarvin about it. So don't give me any crap. Or who knows? Maybe I won't. So watch. By the way, you gave me an out. You forgot about it, but you gave me an out and you forgot about it, of course. But I'm still going to do it. So that being said, by the way, how's your? It's just a quick sideline, Cuervo. How's your morning show going? With it's called the Daily Grind, right? How's that going? By the way.
Put that on hiatus for the time being. I've been dealing with physical therapy for my back, and then that's early in the morning. And then also, she's going through law school right now, and right now everything's kind of kicking her ass.
So a little hiatus, which by the way is encompassed with the reason why you gave me the out. But I'm still going to pay the bet. So
the thing is that I could do it. It's just the thing is that she's got a lot of priorities. I got my health right now, which is not in the best shape right now. So I have to, do what's right for everybody. Plus, on top of that, I'm still putting together not one, not two, but 3 OIWA shows.
I know, I've seen that.
And also, and by the way, I've been edited during one of them. So
I've seen that one. I've seen that.
It was weird. I sent them the show and they said, no, I'm going.
Yeah, it's checking the mic. Yeah. So interestingly enough.
But between that and Officers TV and doing this show as much as I can, there's a lot of airtime, clearly.
So,
and once again, it's just, it's not that I don't want to get away from the daily grind. It's that right now I'm not in the best spirits to deal with TikTok videos and dealing with, people who, are bashing or pro-Trump or all that bullshit, which I don't really care about.
I don't pay attention to those. I get bashed all the time.
So I'm not. That's not my thing. So
gotcha.
So I'm just trying to get my. I'm going to physical therapy 3 times a week right now. Last week was a little rough because of the tornadoes we had out here.
That too. That too. I was actually worried about you, but then I saw where it hit, so I knew you were okay.
Well, the thing was, one hit 2 miles from my house.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because over at Lake Murray, which is down the road from me, one hit over there in the lake area. And me and Cooper were sitting here watching movies. We watched the old Western Maverick with Mel Gibson.
Oh yeah. I love that one's my favorite.
Yeah. I love that Western to watch. So he enjoyed that a lot. Then we watched Tin Cup, and he'd seen Tin Cup a long time ago, but didn't remember it. So we watched that, and then my mother-in-law called me up. It's like, take cover now. I'm like, well, I'm just lighting outside. Then she says, are you watching the news? I'm like, no, I'm watching movies. And then the power flickered off all night long. And then over Marietta, just 15 miles from me, it ripped a hole in the Dollar Tree distribution center that's out there.
I saw that. That picture where they had
and it had destroyed. It had destroyed Homeland grocery stores out there. And the truck stop that's right there across from it, it blew trucks on top of each other. And I only had one fatality.
I thought that was further away from you, so I was misjudging where you were compared to that.
The funny thing was, 2 days later, I'm driving home from work, and it's a major thunderstorm, kind of the same kind of conditions we had the night 2 nights before. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Lord, if you're up there, I just want to get home. I'm sorry, I just want to go home. I named my peace with God on that way home. That way going home. Well, hell, last night the wrestle show was coming down pretty hard too. So. This is not the time to play with the weather. I'm telling you right now, these April and May showers, it's a lot more than that. This is where, I live in the state where Twister was made. So, this is, this is a thing.
Yeah, you're kind of crazy. So, well, let's hop back into it. I had this. I wanted to jump into this because it's really interesting. Here's your top three guys, right? Your three guys that were taken in that, and you can include the one in Atlanta that was picked. And that being said, so I'm going to ask because the Bears season. Listen, the 7-10 is a mirage. Okay. All right, and I say that because that's exactly what it was. They won games at the end of the season that no one cared about. It kind of reminds me of another quarterback that I kind of bash all the time. So that being said, these teams are in looking to try to change their ways. Who do you think makes out of the guys that were picked there, Cuervo? In the first round, the new quarterbacks, who do you think is going to make the playoffs first? So I'm really interested to see where you feel as far as where your guy is compared to the other ones that are out there.
Well, I mean, look, Sonny, I'm going to be a little biased here. How can I not say that the Bears will be the first one to make the playoffs? I mean, come on. The only other one, and he wouldn't even be starting, is in Atlanta with Michael Penix, which so you talk about a head-scratching pick. Holy cow. But
interesting. Was it really head-scratching? I've been hearing everybody.
Yes.
But, so explain to me why, because I have one word that explains the reason why, but go ahead. Because I'm missing how this is such a head-scratching deal.
Well, now I'm really interested in your one word, but you basically – okay, so – I've heard the comparisons. Well, Green Bay did it. They drafted a quarterback when they had their guy. But hold on a second. You're talking about guys that had built a legacy in Green Bay already.
Pretty much.
When those guys got drafted. So when Rodgers got drafted, Favre already built his legacy in Green Bay. When Jordan Love got drafted, Rodgers had already built his legacy in Green Bay. Kirk Cousins hasn't even played a snap for the Falcons yet. And you go and you draft Michael Penix?
It's more than that, though. I mean, you go and offer at least a 2-year deal for a guaranteed $100 million to Kirk Cousins.
That's the other part.
And then you draft a quarterback in the first round.
That's the other side of it. Yeah, you threw all this money at Kirk Cousins, and then what do? You give him the finger and say, hey, we're going to draft a replacement tonight before you even –
But here's the thing, though. They're getting Penix at the draft minimum, right? As far as whatever first round pick quarterback will get for him, it won't be the millions and millions and millions of dollars that you think he'll be getting. So I don't think they'll be tied up in two quarterbacks for over $50 million each.
Well, I don't know what the number 8 pick gets, but I guarantee it's got to be at least $8 million per season on average. AAV?
No, actually, it's a lot less than that. The first year quarterbacks they make minimal. It's more about their bonuses. It's more about signing bonuses and things of that sort. Is where all that's coming from. But that being said, I know exactly why they did. More than the fact, injury. Look at where Kirk Cousins. He's coming off of an injury, a season-ending injury. Okay, last year. So there's no question he could go down, and then you might be able to start the era a little bit. But depending on as far as who you can get as a backup, you might as well get your guy who which in this case is obvious is going to replace him, and get him in there in case of injury. I don't know. I get the money part of it where people are going, well, you're paying the guy $100 million. Why are you going to go get a guy? But I just don't know. I'm really kind of missing it. And of course he got the call when they were on the clock, which I still, this drives me insane. And I don't care if it's Kirk Cousins or whoever it is, we got to check in. We have to check in with Kirk Cousins. He might have something to say about this. All that crap. I'm just so that's. This is the crap I'm tired of, and I don't know, but
Sonny, real quickly, since Penix was the number 8 pick in the draft, he will account for $4,160,477 of the Falcons' cap space this season. So that's not particularly tied to a specific position group. That's a lot of cap hit that will be in that particular draft spot.
I don't. It's not about the money in reality. It's the money about Kirk Cousins in reality, but it's not the money about anybody in reality. But I just, I know there's going to be the controversies that are out there. I know, people were talking about it and it just saying how bad of this is not. I'm going to go on record. I'm just going to say this might be the best pick in the first round.
How did I know Sonny would say something like that?
It might be the best pick in the first round because the last 2 seasons, Kirk Cousins has been kind of injury prone. You got to, if you want to talk about a superstar, of course, you know how I feel about rookies, but if he's your next superstar, why not grab your guy? Because Kirk Cousins isn't going to play forever. They're not going to pay him the amount of money after the 2 years, unless he gets another big contract somewhere, which he's not. He's done after Atlanta. But I just think it was the right move. Not only that, he can learn from Kirk Cousins and still play his game, but still also get a Kirk Cousins point of view. And I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy who says, well, screw him. I'm not going to teach him how to take my job. That's not going to happen because there's so much money involved with it. So he don't have to worry about it. On the other side of that, when Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers was going at it, well, that could have happened. Because Brett Favre was really at the end of his career, and that could have turned in immediate. But when you got that much money invested in Kirk Cousins, you need to have. And we talk about it on this show all the time, Cuervo. What's the second best, most important position on the field is either your offensive line or your backup quarterback, 1A, 1B, or 2A, 2B. So I just think I thought it was the right move per se for them as far as their future is concerned. If it's not going to work with Kirk Cousins, go ahead, Cuervo.
No, and I'm not knocking Penix. I just think he didn't go to the right team. That he didn't go to a team that needs him right now, can use him right now. Now he's going to have to sit and I think the GM Terry Fontenot should win Clown of the Year because this guy actually said if Penix sits for 4 years, that is a good problem to have. Really?
But we all know, and he even knows that's not going to happen, Cuervo. I mean, are we thinking he is that dumb? And I might be wrong. Maybe we're thinking he's that dumb. Hold on. You know as well as I do, there's a lot of things that are talked about in the NFL that are just lip service, and that's what I got from it as lip service.
Okay, let me go back to your one word, Sonny. Because if it's about injury, then you really picked the wrong guy. Here's the thing. You said you don't watch college, right? So you don't know about the long list of injuries that Michael Penix has had throughout his college.
No, that part I did not know. You're right.
Sonny, he's been injured 5 times in college alone. He's gone through
there you go.
different injuries, including knees, shoulders. And against your Wolverines in the national championship game, he had an ankle injury he played through. So if it's about injuries, oh man, you really made the wrong move.
Well, no, it's about injury. It's about injury to Kirk Cousins more so, but I did not know the background, so I will give you that. Should they have taken a different quarterback?
You want a guy that backs him up that is going to be stable and healthy. Well, Penix ain't that guy. That guy is limping into the NFL. All right, literally. Okay. So if I had to use one word to describe why they made that move, and this is a little bit of conspiracy Cuervo coming out.
Okay.
I would say tampering, because you guys have probably heard already about they're looking into whether the Falcons tampered with their Cousins prior to free agency.
Okay.
So that's going on out there is if it's found that the Falcons are guilty of of tampering, they're going to lose a draft pick next year, which could possibly be a first rounder. So in their mind, well, let us secure a quarterback now in case we lose our first rounder next year. That's
hold on. So wouldn't that be kind of smart? Knowing what might end up happening, would that be kind of smart? Maybe.
Yes. However, Penix, that's the one you.
Okay.
If you're gonna do it, I mean, even McCarthy's a stretch. We all
really
know
he's
not going to pan out. Or you draft somebody later on. If you think Spencer Rattler can be a decent quarterback, if you think
right,
well, he got picked late in the draft, didn't he?
Oh, he went late. I
Yeah.
think the Saints took him in like, oh God, the 5th round or something like that. So, I mean,
well, you say conspiracy. I think I got a little conspiracy of my own as well, but that you mentioned it with this whole thing, Cuervo. I think I'm with you because as far as maybe it's this. I don't know if you are not familiar with the ones that are in this picture. But if you're not familiar with this picture, that's Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, and Tanya Harding took it to the knee of Kerrigan, and maybe there's a little conspiracy going on there. If he gets hurt, who caused it? It's kind of interesting. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw that.
I got one question. If that's the case,
okay.
Why?
Oh, that's great. I got to find that video. That's funny. Yeah. So, but I mean, listen, now based upon everything I know, because obviously I haven't dove into, who they picked. I just listening to what people, the experts said that he was the 4th best quarterback within this draft pick of the 6 that were there. So, and I didn't see necessarily a problem with it. I didn't see the conspiracy side of it, which is probably, I don't even think that's a conspiracy, Cuervo, because that was big news coming out about that as far as the tampering is concerned and what they can lose and where they were at the time and who was available at the time. I don't even think that's much of a conspiracy, probably more so than fact, Cuervo. So I get it. I understand it. And now I think, hopefully the kid can not get injured. I did not know his injury background, but based upon everything that they were talking about, how good, quote unquote, good this guy is, could he make it and be a good, productive quarterback in year 3 or 4, which is where most quarterbacks start developing and being good players for the rest of their career, around 3 or 4. Can he get him to that point? That'll be really interesting to go. But I don't know. I think now that you've even spread the conspiracy, I'm even more for the pick. I like it even better now.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say Cousins gets hurt. Penix comes in, he gets hurt. Well, now what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know who their their number 3 is.
They still have Heineke as of right now.
There they go. They can live off of that. Although I'm not a great big fan of him, but he's in the perfect spot, a backup quarterback, which is what he should be. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL anyway, but he can go in there and maybe get you some wins until one of them comes back. If you lose, hey, if they lose, they lose a 1st round draft pick, and then Kirk Cousins gets hurt, then what's his name gets hurt. Man, that is a bad year for Arthur Blank and the Atlanta Falcons, which, by the way, if you kind of look at it based upon Kirk Cousins coming in, they've got to be one of the favorites to win the division, wouldn't you think? I mean, they're going to be in play for the division, don't you think, Cuervo?
The Falcons, yeah. I think they dropped the ball on getting Cousins more help at the receiver.
Yes.
That's what I was afraid of when Atlanta was on the clock. I was like, damn, they're going to get a Dunze and the Bears are going to have to either trade down, or if there's somebody that they really want, they'll take them at 9. And then And then Schefter comes on. He's like, "Yeah, the Falcons are really thinking about a quarterback here." I'm sorry, what? And sure enough,
huh?
like the gods have shined on my guys on my team again, and then they take a doomsday. So
Yeah,
I think Atlanta needs to get a little bit more for Cousins as far as weapons are concerned, because nothing against Drake London and who's the other guy that they got? I can't remember.
Drake London's a step up number 2, Cuervo. Maybe even just number 2. It just say he has his moments where he can be a step up number 2, but he's more of a number 2 in reality. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they missed out on an opportunity there. Even if you do lose that pick next year, you still have Kirk Cousins for. Was it a 4-year deal, right? Isn't it a 4-year deal?
It's a 4-year deal guaranteed at $100 million, which basically is $50 million, which, listen, we all know is highway robbery. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that. And listen, and speaking of that, I might as well go to the video clip because it was big news with Sterling Sharp and Cam Newton. Take a look.
Cousins. You're like, I want to know who his agent is.
For sure.
Because I want to know how a man that's won one playoff game, been a game manager his entire career. He's coming off season-ending Achilles surgery at his age.
That's egregious. And I love the fact that he's able to get that money. But what the Falcons paid Kirk Cousins, they could have got Cam Newton, Justin Fields, and Michael Vick for that price. See, this is the thing about sports that we don't do a better job with holding people to the fire. You'll critique Dak Prescott. You'll critique Cam Newton. You'll critique Lamar Jackson. You'll critique Patrick Mahomes. But who's to say for the ownership, the management, and all these decision makers by tricking off these key decisions? But they want you to just shut up and play. When are we going to admit that these coaches really don't know what they're doing? These managers don't know what they're doing.
Well, there you go. Big news there. Well, not big news, but big talk. And I just, from both of them, by the way, I'm just going to throw this out here. I get I'm so sick of the shut up and play thing that I've lost interest. Whoever says it, I just think that they can't defend their position enough. And that's what I get with these guys. Not only that, these guys are hugely green with envy. Now, granted, I get what they're talking about, and I can maybe even see a little bit of it. But you're talking about guys that don't play anymore, that are mad that some of these guys are making the money, and the fact, let's just throw it out there, that he's white and he's getting this money. So there is a green of envy going on, and a call of racism as well, which I think is weak, especially coming from Shannon Sharp. I expect it from Cam Newton. It's just as they call it egregious, but more in the fact that let's not forget who got paid, and that's where my problem comes with this, because there are players that of the black descent that are getting paid some big money right now. Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. The guys they were mentioning, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, making huge money. Now, granted, you may want to say this guy's better than Kirk Cousins, but who's to say that Kirk Cousins, and I'm not going to say that he will, but it puts them into where they are respectful going into the playoffs and might have a chance to rip someone, an opportunity of a victory in the playoffs. So I'm sick of hearing this shut up and play thing, especially when black quarterbacks are getting paid big bucks as well. So, I'm sorry, I'm missing the point. Am I missing the point, Cuervo? Where am I at on that? I mean, what's your take up on what you just seen from Shannon Sharp and Cam Newton?
Well, my first question is, who's criticizing Mahomes? Like, what is the criticism?
What's the critique?
Yeah, right? Didn't he say that people criticize Mahomes?
And Lamar Jackson.
Well, okay, Lamar I get, because he needed to work on his passing game, and he did.
Yeah, but he was the MVP last year. Let's get MVP
last year. So All right, so that part I get. Cam, I think that was just an opportunity for him to, speak on his, bitterness of how the NFL looked at him or whatever.
Bitter.
But I think it was more of his attitude off the field than it was on the field is what people criticize Cam for.
Right.
Well, some of the stuff I did agree with, because I'm with it too. I'm like, I don't see how a guy that one playoff win is getting paid all that money for one playoff win. So when teams pay that for a guy like Kirk Cousins, they're paying for the hope and they're paying for the possibility. They're not paying for something that has a really good chance of happening, because with a guy like Cousins is like, man, if he lasts all season, you've got a shot at the playoffs. It's not
exactly.
It's not like, well, this guy has proven wherever he goes, he takes you there.
Right.
So with Cousins, it's like one playoff win. That's all he's got. At the same time, though, he's what else is out there? What
and I think that was going to be my point, Cuervo. What else? Who else is really out there that you can realistically get to bring to your football team to improve you enough just to make the playoffs? Because believe me, if the Atlanta Falcons make the playoffs, that's a huge plus than what they have done for the last 3 years. Never mind the Super Bowl hangover that Matt Ryan has put them through during that time.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I partially agree, but then I do see the other side of it where it's kind of like, all right, is it because, he's white and he's getting his money and you think other guys should get paid? Like, he brought up Justin Fields. Like, really? Like, how hard do you want me to laugh at that? And I'm a Bears fan. And sorry, he ain't worth no $100 million. Justin Fields is nowhere near worth that much money. He has not shown he has not shown improvement and progression in his game. I don't question the athleticism of him, but the Bears let him go because he did not show growth, improvement. He didn't show progression in his game as a quarterback.
Well, so, let me ask you this, Cuervo. Who's better? Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins. Who's better?
Who's better? I think Kirk Cousins is a better pocket passer, no doubt about it. I mean, it's night and day comparing their pocket passing game.
Is he better than Cam?
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. Was he better? Take Cam's career and look at Kirk Cousins. Who was better? Was it Cam Newton or was it Kirk Cousins?
I think Cam had the better career.
I think you're right.
He got to Super Bowl. Right. He won an MVP.
Exactly.
The Panthers were consistently in the playoffs.
Right.
Cam had the better career than what Cousins has shown right now.
And I think Lamar, and I'll even say that Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, and that's because of the intangibles of the game. But when you take the intangible game out of that mix, Kirk Cousins is better than Lamar Jackson. Well, no, Lamar Jackson's getting better throwing the football, so I'll say they're about even. But when you throw the intangibles in, you got to look at Lamar Jackson. Go ahead. You look like you're about ready to say something, Podfather. Go ahead.
No, I just hate it when they make it about race, And
me too.
I mean, because look, the sports agents don't look at what race you are. Okay.
Yep.
They look at how much you can bring them. So this is all sports agent driven. Kirk Cousins is able to find the best deal he'll ever get to go to a place where he might get the hell kicked out of him. And quite frankly, to him, it'll be worth the $100 million, whatever he'll be getting guaranteed to go play for
without question.
So for Cam Newton and for Sharon Sharp and for everybody else out there and bitch and moan about this because
get better agents.
because Dak Prescott's not going to get X amount of dollars or whatever, or because, of whoever else is out there is not going to get the best deal. Like you said, get better agents, but also, you know what? It's all about your value to your team. And a lot of that's not just to play on the field, it's how you control yourself through the media.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that, and a lot of those players have done a lot of things to jeopardize their career with the media that has made them almost unpayable in some cases like that.
I agree.
And that's on them. So, again, I don't do the whole race thing with athletes because everybody's getting paid a shitload of money and I ain't getting paid any of it. So, they got their own business on that.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not like Cam Newton and Shannon Sharp and Dak Prescott and whoever else doesn't have extra money coming in because of who they are.
Right.
There's a thing called sponsors. They get them. Sleep Experts got a big thing with Dak Prescott right now.
Well, they're talking $60 million for Dak, right? I mean, they're talking 60. He'll probably get 55, is my guess. I mean, that's still a whole boatload of a lot of money to pay any quarterback, never mind a good one.
Right. But the thing is, find me somebody else out there right now that can do what Dak does. That's available.
Good point.
That's
Good
available. Point. You gonna find him in college? Probably not. You gonna find him as an undrafted free agent? Probably not. Are you gonna find him in free agency? Well, we had that go around not too long ago, and that didn't happen. Jerry's not willing to pay a player X amount of dollars to someone he doesn't know, as opposed to paying someone X amount of dollars who he does know and has a little more control. Dak Prescott's never going to say a bad thing about Jerry Jones as long as
he would be in my nightly dreams, especially after that last contract. Never mind the one he's going to get if he stays here.
So, look, Dak's smart to stay. He's smart to get whatever he can get. Again, is there another team out there that's going to pay him that much money? I'm not saying the line forms to the left, but there's a few teams out there that's going, well, you know what? Maybe he needed to change the scenery. Maybe he needed something different, an offense that works for him. Because he's had the Jason Garrett offense. He's had the whoever else's offense has come through here. Kellen Moore. He's had, has he had a fair shake with offensive schemes? He's only had 2 to go with. So probably not. But I just hate when race gets involved. Dude, how many championship boxers made X amount of millions of dollars? And how many of them were black?
Gab?
Mike Tyson made a killing and he don't have any of it.
He just blew all of his money. Wait, by the way, when is that match?
This is June.
He's got a July, Logan. Yeah. Big money there. I'm a firm believer that when a Shannon Sharp and Cam Newton are hollering racism, there's more of it involved with it, and I think it's green and jealousy. The fact that they didn't get paid the money that these guys are being making today. Now, I don't know how Cam makes his money now or how he invested. Hopefully, he invested really well to where it is. But I think there is a green.
I saw his head
of that.
I saw his head. He's not investing his money very well, sir.
Who?
I saw his hat. He's not investing that money very
well. Depending on what you think of that. Let's do this, guys. Let's take a 30-second break. We need to hear from our sponsor, that being Mint Mobile. And I'm going to come back. Before we get back into the NFL, we need to talk about something that Cuervo might know a lot because he listens to a lot of LA sports. The LA Lakers. We'll hop into that for a minute before we get back into more NFL. We'll hear from Mint Mobile and then a quick video coming back here on the couch.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass? Do you know how big their legal department is, face?" So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
I guess it's my fault that this roster sucks ass. Oh, wait, no. GM LeBron traded all our good role players to get Russell Westbrook, only to use him as a scapegoat. He never takes responsibility. He's a big baby. If he put half the effort he used arguing with the officials into defense, maybe Aaron Gordon wouldn't have looked like prime Shaq. And then there's AD, who's apparently allergic to fourth quarter points. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura are about as consistent as my shits after Taco Bell. But no, it's all my fault. I swear Laker fans and bronzexuals have such low IQ.
Oh, I love it.
That's a guy who knew that his name was on the outdoor. Real quick.
Everybody calls me a LeBron hater.
And he had to work with him.
I gotta work on my game, man. I'm way behind this guy. The Lakers are obviously done. As far as that with their head coach, and Darvin Ham just really hammered it home. It basically said everything that I've been saying for years on this show in reality regarding LeBron James and what and how he brings his game, whatever game he brings, to the forefront. And there's a scapegoat. There's no question. And that's how and by the way, in case you don't know how to answer to be in a scapegoat, that's how you answer to be in a scapegoat.
Yeah. That guy knew he was on his way out the door. So he had nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
He knew. He's like, look, I ain't going to be here. LeBron's going to be here forever. I ain't going to be here. So,
2 years with him as the head coach. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win. That was with somebody else in the bubble. I forget who they had, but 2 years removed from the bubble, and not able to win the championship or get into the place to win it. By the way, Dallas Mavericks move on. They beat the Clippers, which, by the way, that's a pretty good shot when you think about what has ended up happening. Congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic and what's his nose? The other guy there. His name's slipping my mind. But Kyrie Irving. Yeah. So,
by the way, you want to talk about a guy who came here with a lot of baggage.
Oh God, yeah.
Baggage.
Oh yeah.
Has been nothing but a team player for this team. I'm like, there are those who can change. There are those who are misunderstood, and I think Cuban was asked about this a while back. He's like, listen. Here's the problem with the Kyrie had. Nobody listened to him.
Exactly.
Nobody wanted to hear what he had to say. Everybody thought they knew it all. So I actually sat and I listened to him and actually heard what he had to say. And because of that, we're where we're at. And, for Mark Cuban to take that kind of leadership as the owner and get to know his players, because, in the NBA, it's a lot easier to do that with your players than you can in the NFL. Because you got 40 something odd man roster. You got, a lot of head coaches, a lot of assistant coaches. So you got a lot of moving parts at that point. NBA looks a little more controlled for an owner who can take an interest, especially in a player driven league. And he knows that. And he's like, all right, well, this is how it's going to be. I just got to pay the checks, but what do I got to do to make this team better? Because at the end of the day, now he's only the minority owner right now, so he used to be the full boss. Now he's the half boss. So I mean,
also taking a back seat, really, in reality, to Luka Doncic instead of being the guy. And of course, at one point, this guy was the guy who wanted to be the guy. But the fact that he has taken on the role of the number 2 guy on this basketball team, that's not a Kyrie thing. That Kyrie was a guy that I'm the number 1 on this team. So it goes to what Mark Cuban was selling. He was willing to buy.
What you think about it, though? I mean, this is a lot about the prima donna players that we all talk about, right?
Absolutely.
And, we also think, Zebra doesn't change his stripes. They're always going to be the complete douche that we all know them to be. But here's this one guy who was that way going from town to town. He comes here, and you not heard a peep. You not heard one bad thing about that guy. And, and
we would hear it, especially in this area.
Especially in this, but it's like, sometimes change the scenery, change the uniform, change the culture can change that guy.
Right.
And Kyrie, for the most part, for what we know of, he loves his position because he knows that it takes two to make this thing work. Everybody is going to get one trophy at the end if they win, but they all get to touch it.
Right.
And why not have it being touched by a guy who is on the ups in the NBA, a guy who's definitely going to be a marquee player in this league 5-6 years down the road, as opposed to a flash in the pan, because Luka's proven that he's.
Let's be honest, that's what some of them are. That's the way it works.
So yeah, I give him nothing but I got faulty shit. I give him nothing but props. Go ahead and talk among yourselves.
So I'll do that as a meltdown of the microphone for there, and so there is the one and only fine co-host of the program. He's going to get back, so we'll bring him back in. I don't know. Did you see the video? Which, by the way, I don't mind playing the video again because it's great. Did you see the video or no?
No, I missed it. I was getting a refill.
Here we go. Hey, you're getting the refill. Watch this. I think you're gonna love it.
I guess it's my fault that this roster sucks ass. Oh wait, no. GM LeBron traded all our good role players to get Russell Westbrook, only to use him as a scapegoat. He never takes responsibility. He's a big baby. If he put half the effort he used arguing with the officials into defense, maybe Aaron Gordon wouldn't have looked like prime Shaq. And then there's AD, who's apparently allergic to fourth quarter points. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura are about as consistent as my shits after Taco Bell. But no, it's all my fault. I swear Laker fans and bronzexuals have such low IQ.
The bronzexual said that, which is great. And then consistent as my shits after Taco Bell. God, that's great. That's great. That's one of the best sound bites I ever heard. And also, by the way, that's one of the best sound bites from a guy who is obviously the scapegoat in reality, Cuervo. I love what we heard there.
Yeah, well, first of all, you should probably stop eating Taco Bell if it messes your stomach. All right, that's number one. Number two, I could see why he got fired, because he spoke the truth about the Lakers.
Yep. Well, he knew he was on the way out in reality, right? I mean, come on, let's be. You don't make those kind of statements unless you know you're on the way out and you're going to be the scapegoat, I think.
Look, when you go on public record and pretty much tell your ownership you guys are inept, you let a player make this team work, and because of that, look where we're at. You're not going to take any responsibility for it. Why am I even here? I got nothing to lose. So
4-1 in this playoffs, and against the Denver Nuggets. Now, granted, I thought the Denver Nuggets would win this series anyway, but not 4-1. They damn near swept them right out of the out of the playoffs. But at the same time, he spoke the whole truth, and we've been saying basically, Cuervo, when we talk LeBron James on this show, he basically said everything. He just had the wonderful words of Taco Bell, but you're right, and he said there was a scapegoat on. Say again.
Probably won't be a sponsor for the Lakers anytime soon.
Probably not. Yeah, but. Wouldn't that be funny if they were? That'd be great. That'd be great marketing if you could figure that out. But that being said, huge stuff coming from there as far as that is concerned. So I'm going to ask a guy who's been listening to the LA scene, that being Cuervo. He listens to LA sports. How far are you from LA? About 25 miles? Cuervo?
No, more than that. More than that. I'd say about 70 to 80.
Oh wow, I didn't know you're that far away. But you get the tune of what's going on in that area. I'm telling you right now, the Lakers are falling apart. It's almost an embarrassment. I wish I had Big Dog to talk about this in reality, because Big Dog would give us some insight. But man, what is what the fans of the Lakers saying right now? Are you hearing any of it?
I'm hearing a little bit of it, not too much, but yeah. I mean, I just like any other fan base would feel, especially one that is at the level that the Lakers are when it comes to history and stuff like that. I mean, they want the team, blown up, all that stuff. Keep LeBron on, get rid of everybody else, and see about drafting his son and all this other nonsense. But yeah, Genie needs to do A, B, and C and whatever. Yeah, they want a whole new team in LA. That's basically what it comes down to.
Interestingly enough, there's the Lakers are something to talk about. The Clippers getting ousted as well by the Mavericks. We were talking about a little bit. That's interesting. We'll be watching that. See how the NBA finals play out without two of the big guns in there. As far as that is concerned, will the Mavericks be able to maybe figure out how to win a championship and go that route? I don't think they've got enough, but who knows? I mean, with Doncic on that team, there's a lot of things. And again, Kyrie Irving playing, second fiddle in a good way. So that's only going to help them in reality. But let's head back into the first round draft results. I mean, Cuervo, when you're looking at who everybody got and did and what they did, looking at, do you know, and I'm just going to ask you, what team do you think is on the power rankings after that? This is what somebody put out here as far as that is concerned. I forget where I picked this up, but looking at Kansas City as the number one team, obviously coming back from Super Bowl, San Francisco, Detroit Lions at number 3, Houston at 4, Baltimore at 5, Philadelphia at 6, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Miami, and Cleveland. I can see some teams dropping on this list as far as power rankings are concerned. I would drop the Detroit Lions down to 5. I would drop the Baltimore Ravens to 6. Philadelphia, I'd drop to 8. And Cincinnati, I'd move up. I don't know what your take is up on maybe the power rankings of what you're looking at. Cuervo, what's your take up on what you see as what team, how the teams are going to mesh with their new players out on the football team coming this season?
Too much love for Green Bay, first of all. Makes me sick. But other than that,
what?
I said too much love for Green Bay. It makes me sick.
It makes sick to my stomach.
We'll see if they can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if they can do it again. It could just be a thing where, what is the saying? And I think it's kind of a dumb thing. We don't have enough film on Jordan Love and the receivers. Well, now that you do, we'll see if they can continue to play as well as they did last year. A lot of love for Houston. I mean, they won one playoff game. It's a lot of love for them. I think that's more about what they think they can be, not what they already are. I would drop Miami. I'm telling you right now, Miami's not as good as people think. Even though they did just sign Odell Beckham, I think Miami's getting too much love. I definitely think Cleveland's getting too much love. Shout out to Obi. Yeah, I don't know. I think these rankings are they're a little bit off.
Yeah, interestingly enough, like you said, we've got OBJ making news
No
in
Dallas?
reality. He's hanging out there. Where's that list? I'll find it in a moment. But yeah, he's making some noise up there, and I don't know. And the Browns with Watson 10-0. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Browns per se on anything, because that's just a lack of consistency in reality when I look at that. Philadelphia, I want to see more from Jalen Hurts before I put him even in. I want to see if this guy was hurt or what that situation was or where he is at today. But I think the list seems to be somewhat right, just whether the order or not. On the top there, do you see? Is there any team that might not have been in that list that you can see maybe making a move to in the power rankings? There it is. There's making that, and is there going to be an Eagle problem in Miami? And that was when I heard that. Plus, because obviously you got Tyreek there, who cried babies about not getting the ball or not getting enough, and then you add this into the mix. How that whole thing is going to work in Miami? I mean, you're the head coach of that football team. How are you going to handle those Eagles?
I haven't heard Tyreek Hill crying about not getting the ball. Maybe I'm missing it, but
wanting the ball. I mean, thinking that he's the God's gift of everything that's going on. You got two huge egos in both of them in reality. Come there, and I don't know. Will Tua be able to get along with it? That's going to be huge there.
I mean, how much more can you do to set up Tua for success? You know what I mean?
Good point.
You're talking a guy that, obviously Tyreek Hill's number one no matter where he goes. And then a guy in Jalen Waddle who in half the league he would be a number one receiver on their team. I could argue. And that's Miami's number two guy. And then you throw in Odell Beckham. I mean, look, if Miami doesn't make the playoffs, or if Miami gets bounced early in the playoffs, is it time to move on from Tua? That's the question in Miami. Or do you continue to try and run it back with Tua because you think there's nothing else you can do at quarterback?
Well, that comes from the draft. What you say, Cuervo? Because I mean, I don't know. Finding a guy that you want, if you're Miami. See, there's certain franchises that you need to go get your guy in as far as draft is concerned, and get him to start from the beginning. I think Miami is one of them. Get your guy and move forward. Tua may or may not have been that guy. I always thought that this was not the guy. But for the way that he's played for the last 2 years, that including when he got hurt 2 years ago, I saw him improving as a quarterback. But the question would be is how they are going to win, and the defensive side of the ball giving up plays, giving up points in the last part of the game after they had the lead going into it. That's one of the big problems there. But at the same time, superstar quarterbacks, even in that point, come back and win football games. That's where you're going to find out if your guy can step up. It's going to be the fourth quarter. They can do whatever they want within the first 3 quarters of the football game. And the fourth quarter is where superstars are made and where they make their money, is in the fourth quarter and how they come back in fourth quarter deficits. So, and we just haven't been able to see that movement with Tua coming back and winning football games and making superstars out of their wide receivers. But Tyreek's a superstar already. Waddle is the great number 2. And then we can sit here and I'll say I'm not an Odell Beckham Jr. fan, but I'm not going to deny the talent that guy at one point had. Whether or not he still has it or not, that could remain to be seen. But taking on a role as a number 3, how is that going to sit? But you're right. What more do they need to do to set him up for success, except maybe help him on the offensive line, which, by the way, was not horrible last year as well. So it's always going to be a big statement, I think, as far as where Miami's going to go. And looking at that division, Cuervo, at the AFC, the AFC East, you still got Buffalo to contend with. I don't know what you think about the Jets. I mean, we could sit and argue back and forth about who the Jets are, but and then Buffalo in that division, they not only got to try to win a division, but then after that point, they still got to fight two teams for a wild card to maybe make it into the playoffs. So they're going to have to do something. And I don't know if it's Buffalo that's going to go down. I don't know if it's the Jets that are going to go down. I think the Patriots, I think we got a couple of years without them being in the playoffs before maybe they make the move. I don't know. What's your take upon Miami going into possibility of making the playoffs next year?
I think that their chances are better now. Which, I mean, they made the playoffs last year, but if you're talking about winning the division, I think they've got as good of a chance now as they have in the past few years.
Yeah, with the drop in Buffalo losing their wide receiver. I mean, say whatever you want about Stephon Diggs. I mean, he still was a stud, and when he is not in the lineup, that's a hole. So that could have Buffalo take a step back within the division as well, unless they figure out that they're going to get a number one and plug the ball to somebody else like they did Diggs.
Yeah, and I'm not breaking any news here, Sonny, but just to kind of give a little sneak preview of what I think of the AFC East. Come July, when we break the divisions down, I think there's going to be a new division winner. I do.
Interesting.
I'm not going to say who it is, but I think there's going to be a new division winner.
Interesting. Interestingly enough. Now, we had the draft, right, guys? So, with all the moves, I'll ask Trey. I mean, seeing Miami, seeing what people have done in the draft, and then just thinking about their own division. What's your take upon Miami, either A, winning the division, or B, making the playoffs again like they did last year?
I don't believe in Miami. I mean, I
don't know why I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, I should probably have more faith in them because they have a coach who doesn't look like a coach, but can damn sure get the guys on the right track. I just don't think that their mentality is there. And again, the AFC East is there for the taking. I mean, Patriots aren't going to do it. I think the Bills are on the decline. And the Jets are going to be the SHITSSSs. So I mean, even with Aaron Rodgers there, but I don't know. I mean, if they win the East, it's because of who else is in there,
right?
If they lose the East, it's because they can't control the narrative there. It's funny too because you talk the NFL draft, and I got a buddy of mine. He's a bigger Cowboy fan than I am. And I asked him point blank, "So, what do you think about the draft?" He's like, "Man, Cowboys can't draft with this shit anymore." I'm like, is it because the fact that you're a UT guy and the first round pick was a center? Because in sports there is a thing called tribalism. We all have it.
Yes. Yes.
And he's like, well, that might have had something to do with it. I'm like, what do you think about CD? What do you think about our big time wide receiver who came out of Oklahoma? Well, he grew on me though. Okay, well, look, Dallas went after the offensive line. They got their offensive line, and they want to get. Hopefully, these guys can play. That's why you drafted them. And not getting a running back, I don't think that's a big deal. People made a bigger deal than it was. I know that Jerry had a love affair with the guy that went to the Panthers. The guy played for UT. Right. But again, you're talking about a guy with no knee, putting him in a situation to where he's gonna be the running back. And you're already gonna pick up Zeke anyway, so what's the point?
Right, exactly.
I mean, you're already in the bargain basement, all-star player who's coming to your team from so many years ago. So, look,
well, we'll see how that works.
Look, I was cool with the draft. I actually liked who Washington picked up because I thought they were going to get was it Drake May, and they ended up selling with Jalen. I think that was a good pick for them. I like what the Bears did. I mean, I know we can sit here and we can yell about what Caleb Turner or Caleb Williams does and everything else, but they had 2 picks in the first 10 picks. They did pretty well for themselves.
Interestingly enough, here's the teams. This came out. I don't. This from Fox.
Again,
And
how can you grade that? None of them have played pro ball yet.
I get that's kind of what I think a lot because your expectations of your rookies. There's really only one position, maybe two, where they really have such an impact on the game, that being offensive line, defensive line. Outside of that, I don't care about rookie. Well, you already know that, but giving the grade, they gave your Chicago Bears an A+. But Cuervo, I will also say the reason why they get that is they addressed certain positions they needed help on. I agree. I think they probably had one of the best that came out as far as the draft to help their team. And not only that, Cuervo, to help their team now. You go to Williams, and maybe, depending on how they're going to do wide receiver, what they're going to do to offset the other side for more with him, that's going to be a huge thing, and how they make that play and and not only that, I think that, they didn't draft them, but the offseason moves as well with the running backs. Say whatever you want. That dude coming out of Philly, I think is going to be really a good type of running back for the Bears coming into this season.
Yeah, I like DeAndre Swift a lot too, Sonny.
Swift, that's his name.
I actually traded for him in fantasy football last year, but that's beside the point.
Right.
The reason that you get these grades, it's based on how the team addressed their needs, right? That's really comes down to. It's not about, the Bears got an A+ because we think Caleb Williams is going to be a stud and Rome Odunze is going to be a top 5 receiver in the league next year as a rookie. No, it's because the Bears needed a quarterback and they needed a receiver just in case Keenan Allen doesn't stick around after this season, because there's a good chance that happens. There's a good chance that was a 1-year rental and the Bears paid a 4th-round pick to do. And because at this point, Keenan Allen is not willing to take a pay cut. If he's healthier than he's been in a while and he's playing well, he's going to want to get paid.
Right.
Because the day is going to come that he's not going to be worth that anymore. So I think he's just kind of trying to hold on to that last opportunity to get that big payday. And the Chargers didn't want, they were just like, no, we're not doing it. So
exactly,
traded him to the Bears. So in case that he's not back after 2024, in comes Rome Odunze from Washington.
Yeah.
And he becomes the number 2 opposite DJ Moore. So, but it's based on needs. That's why you see these grades, and the Eagles address their needs. Obviously, I think there's still some retooling that needs to happen on their offensive line for them to still be a top 10 team. But then you look like Dallas. They get a B because everybody thought they were going to draft a running back, and instead they brought Zeke back, and but I'm not totally like what the F are the Cowboys doing. But that's why you see it, like teams like Carolina and Atlanta getting D's on their grades, because again, the Penix pick. Come on, you needed another weapon for Kirk Cousins, and you go and you draft his backup, who's injury prone, by the way. Mm-hmm. And then the Panthers, they were all over the place with their draft. They were just taking names was what they were doing. So,
hey, the one thing we haven't talked about yet is the Arizona Cardinals got Marvin Harrison Jr. And you want to talk about a big playmaker that the team's going to need to help quarterback, doing his thing.
Oh,
And
here's the recent picture.
He's there somewhere.
He's there. I don't know.
Tyler's down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, big news. I mean, reality, as far as Marvin Harrison's concerned. Again, guys, these are just things, and I popped up. We didn't talk about, but hasn't signed his whatever that word is. His first licensing agreement, and this is such a business move from a guy who don't need money. And this really goes down to the fact of where the NFL gets these young players. Okay. Simple enough is Marvin Harrison needs money like he needs a hole in the head, and it looks like he's trying to change how they are doing the business. Because if you look in the NIL, they sign guys up in the NIL, and these guys have no money. They're coming from nothing. They sign out of desperation. Now here comes a guy in Marvin Harrison Jr., who doesn't need the money in reality, and he is waiting. And it seems like this might be a guy that might be able to change how business is done for new players coming into the league. And this, I think, it's a statement in reality for a young wide receiver thinking business first, and then he'll figure out the game. And I don't think there's going to be a problem with him figuring out the game. He needs to figure out how he's going to get paid. He's still going to get paid, but it's more about the business aspect of signing away everything for very little money, and he's not very much interested in it. I like this move. Some people are thinking he's a pain in the ass, but I think what he's doing is looking out for his future in the right way, in a business way, and I don't think we see a lot of that in the young players because they're just signing just to sign. And it helps when you have your daddy who should be in. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he is in the he is in the Hall business wise. In reality, he is. Yeah. But this is a great business move in reality for Marvin Harrison Jr., I think.
Mm-hmm.
Trey,
I mean, if his jersey becomes like one of those things where you get a game authentic jersey signed by him and it's worth X amount of money, because
you can't buy a Harrison jersey right now.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I see that, but that also might be taking a little too much value in yourself. You can piss off an entire fan base by not having your product available for them to buy. Like I can't fathom the idea of going to a Cowboys game in the 90s and not seeing 22 all over the place. I can't imagine, going to, anywhere where they have an all-star player and not be able to pick up something of his, as a souvenir, as a game authentic, whatever. I mean, yeah, does he need the money? Probably not. But here's the thing. He didn't need the money because his dad's rich, right?
Right. Well, and plus the money he got paid in college, as well.
But here's the thing, that runs out.
Right.
That can run out really quick. And, getting those sponsors and getting that, getting your merchandise stuff. I mean, hey, like in pro wrestling, I saw it at a wrestling show one time. We had Matt Hardy on our show, Broken Matt Hardy. And his fee to come in was pretty expensive enough. But he cleared twice as much of what his booking fee was off merchandise sales alone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. So he made the $3,000 or whatever it was to bring him to the show, $7,000 on top of the $3,000 to only work 15 minutes.
Right.
I mean, that's where I think he's kind of missing the boat a little bit. I mean, in a money hungry league, which the NFL is, trust me, don't you think the EA Sports people got really pissed at Bill Belichick for not giving his likeness to their game?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same thing. You're going to have some other guy named number 88 and his name will be Williams or whatever, or Smith. So, but we'll all know it's him because I'll have all the same rankings that he would have. But it's just one of those things where it'd be funny if the NFL says, okay, fine, you want to do it that way, fine. We have number 88 jerseys for the Arizona Cardinals with the last name Smith on the back of it now. We all know it's you, but that's what it's identified as out there outside of the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
but in reality, as far as Marvin Harrison Jr. pissing off an area, who cares? It's the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, it's not like they're such a storied franchise, and not having that in there is going to affect
but if you went to the Raiders, if you went to the Colts, if you went anywhere else, will you do the same shit?
Yeah, I get it. And that's what I'm saying. It's such a great business move because he's not going to lose a dime in reality. Because as soon as he signs that deal, whatever deal he signs, that money's going to be there regardless. Because Arizona Cardinals have Kyler Murray, and that's the only other jersey they're selling.
He's not going to lose anything, but he sure is not going to gain anything.
Well, it depends on what the contract that he signs.
Well,
it may be different than anybody else's.
As far as outside his contract, I mean, he'll get paid off that alone. But if anything else, if he gets sponsors or whatever it is, or any merch type thing, that's where all these players make their money.
Well, I understand that, but especially return to the fight. One, Trey, is a big one because it involves the merchandise. What he does get paid up on the merchandise, and if he's getting a bigger percentage than anybody who would just sign it to get it because these guys are so broke ass that they don't have a choice, there's a big difference there, and there's the big money. It's a different type of money probably than anybody who's just signing to sign. And that's where the NFL has some of these players, a lot of these players who don't have the money. It was worse back in the day when they weren't supposedly getting paid in college, to compare to now when they are getting paid in the college. These guys are becoming more business savvy. I think it's actually a good thing as far as their future is concerned. When you're looking at the money that they can bring for their jerseys and things of that sort, if you're only getting, let's just throw the number out 5%. If he's going to get 10 or 11% of what they're going to sell, that's big money in reality if you're a Marvin Harrison Jr. because of the namesake. I threw that to you, Cuervo. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
I thought that was still Trey. I thought he was gonna kind of respond to that. Look, here's my question. How does he benefit from not signing? How does he benefit from not wanting to sell jerseys? Because I'll take it a step further. Yeah, you can make the argument, Sonny, that it's the Arizona Cardinals. But think about, and I wish Obi was here because he'd probably agree with me. Don't you think Ohio State fans are going to follow Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career in Arizona? And some of them will probably buy his jersey and support him in Arizona. You know damn well Obi is in Arizona. He's a Buckeye fan. You know he's getting one. And so granted, it's only one jersey. When it comes that's the thing. When it becomes available, but it goes into what the Podfather talked about. You're pissing off a fan base, and you can knock it all you want. There's Arizona Cardinal fans around. Hell, we've had one that's been a part of our show. That's been a part of our Pick'em League. It was a good friend of mine that I served with, Jeremy Miracle. He's a huge Cardinal fan, and I know he'd probably buy a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey. So it don't matter how big or small the Arizona Cardinal fan base is. The fan base is going to buy his jersey because that is a guy that they have hope for that'll help the Cardinals take it a step further. And then you got the Buckeye fans, like I said, who will probably buy his jersey. And then you got the Colts fans. Hey, that's Marvin's kid. Let's freaking show some love to him as well. So it could. It could be something where he could make some good money off of it. Yes. I don't know if he's getting some advice from somebody to not do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, whoever it is, I think they're trying to be smarter than everyone else in the room, and it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now, it's not.
Plus the fact you can go on
be good for him.
You can go on NFLshop.com and make a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey out of Arizona as well, because you can go there and put your own name on the back of it.
I don't know. They may block that. They may block.
They will block it.
But
just to give you an example, my jersey from the Jaguars was done by the one that's doing most of the jerseys now. It's Fanatics or something like Fanatics. Yeah. They would not put the Jaguar logo on it. You can do whatever you want. And you can make it look like a Marvin Harrison jersey, but it won't be an official Marvin Harrison jersey.
At that point, let's say that happens, right? And there's a lot of Harrison Juniors out there that are putting in a request for, it's my own last name. Don't worry about that. Well, you're like the 67th Marvin Harrison Jr. name out there or whatever. So, well, he's going to look at that and go, I ain't getting a damn dime from that.
Well, that's true. Depending on if they would be like me, I would do it if there was a difference in price. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what we call it years ago, I bought me a Danny White jersey through NFLshop.com, and I had to tell them D. White. Don't just put White on the back, because that's not how he did it. And because I want to get as close to authentic as I possibly could, because I know I don't have a 1980s jersey of Danny White. So I try to get as good as I can get it to make it look like I was supporting him. So I get it, and again, he's going to look at the crowd. He's going to see the 88 jerseys out there. Now his name, and plus you can go to Academy Sports and Outdoor and get you a red jersey and put an 88 on the back, and no last name. You're still supporting your guy, but you're doing it the unofficial way. And
I'm actually shocked.
At the end of the day, when he wanted to sit and go, why not just be official so I can make a little coin off of this, and have my name on the Madden game and have my name on this and that, just so I can because the players union, who's still a very strong union, will sit there and go, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you trying to fuck with us like this?
The only thing is, it really only affects one person in reality, that being Harrison Jr. But I don't, even though we're kind of talking about doing this, I don't think that money would add up to as much as what he would make if it was official through the Players Association thing. So I think even though we got the knockoffs and you can get it all day long, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be the amount of what it would be as if it was official. I just, but you're right, Cuervo. They're going to block. They would block any of that kind of thing that's going on.
So it goes back to my original question, guys. How does he benefit from not wanting to put his name on anything?
He does.
I think it. I'm actually shocked I'm the only one that's thinking this way, because normally I would think that you would be on Harrison's side of on the, hey, get your money, do what you need to do. And listen,
but how? And I'm going to give me some examples of how, because I don't see it. I don't.
The percentage right now, and I don't know what the percentage is. Okay, you get a percentage of your draw on your jerseys of what you get paid for through. So let's say that if you sign it, it's 5%. Well, if he signs for 10%, he doubled that up. So that's what I'm saying. The benefit as far as business is concerned. And again, I'm actually shocked that I'm thinking that he's doing the right thing more so than what I'm hearing, at least from you two. That this seems like what I'm gathering might be a mistake for him. But and I'm wondering, and I don't know the backstory, but I bet you a lot of this is coming from his daddy, because his daddy made a lot of money in that jersey. And imagine how much he could have made if he was able to call his own shot, more so than them saying, well, this is what you get. And that's what I'm saying. He's calling his own shot on what he's going to get paid as far as a percentage for his own likeness. And we were talking about the colleges and everything else, and how they get to use it and how they're just using it and making money off them. Well, in this case, it's different now. They're not going to make as much money off of him, more so than what he can put in his own pocket. So I'm actually kind of shocked I'm the only one thinking this way.
So this could be, though? This could be a bargaining chip for him to negotiate with Nike alone.
It could be,
because Nike is the official the official uniform people of the NFL, right? So they can simply sit there and go to him and go, look, we know you're a star talent. We know that you think you deserve more than what you can get. What's it going to take? What's it going to take for you to play ball with us? And if he's having the mindset you have, he'll sit and go, no, I'm good. Don't worry about it. But that's not going to happen because agents will get involved. Agents don't make any money off a player telling them, no, I'm good. So trust me, this will all be agent driven. This will all be number driven. And like I said, this might be his idea of I can negotiate with, outside the NFL and go to Nike and say what's going to take. Or he might actually try to lend this shit out to, say, Reebok or whoever else. I mean, it's I know they have certain rules. If you go outside the players union deal, you might be able to go get another sponsor like that.
Could be.
Looks to be groundbreaking for them. It also might leave a bad taste in the mouth for the players because they're not big enough to do that. But this kid's thinking he's big enough to do that. So I don't know. But
I just wonder how much that money we're talking about that actually goes into the Arizona Cardinals pockets and more so with the NFL pockets, how that money is split up. That is really interesting on what's going on. It's just another business level of what has been changed since the change from college getting paid to when they weren't getting paid and where they are now. They're not as desperate anymore for that money, even though, like you said, that money runs out.
I think a lot of that goes down to the team reaches out to the sponsor, say Nike. They say, look, we need 10,000 Marvin Harrison jerseys. Okay, well, this is your price. Okay. I'll make sure this player gets a percentage of this amount that we've already bought, so they'll get this no matter what. It's not about jerseys sold. It's about jerseys that are purchased by the team that can be sold because they can be price gouged like crazy. So
absolutely.
So it's all about the percentage that player gets from the team when it comes to getting their their jerseys ahead of time.
I think if it was the Dallas Cowboys, he probably wouldn't have had a problem with it. It is the Arizona Cardinals. They don't sell jerseys, okay, per se. They sell some, but not as much as Dallas Cowboys, not as much as the big name football teams in the NFL, that traditionally sell a lot of jerseys. And the Arizona Cardinals are not that high on it, so this doesn't hurt him in any way financially. Like you said, he may piss off a community, but as soon as that contract signs, that's all going to go out the window. No one's going to hate the guy because the fact of the matter is that jersey is going to be the same amount as somebody else's. It's just more of how it gets divvied up at that point. I'm actually shocked. I would love to hear. Bryce's opinion on that as well. Just more in the fact of what's going on. Now, that being said, really quick, I wanted to throw this out here. These are the 2021 draft classes. All the guys that were in the first round had the 5-year options, and look how many of the 5-year options were declined. And look, and now, granted, you're talking some names that you've heard of. There's some that I've heard of, but don't give a rip about. So that being said, where they are as far as their 5th-year options, they're all declined. Look at those names. Najee Harris, I mean, a huge name there. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, when he was with the Patriots, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and so their 5th years. I'll be honest, I didn't realize Trey Lance was in his 5th year, but you look at the numbers you're talking: $22.4 million, $25 million for Justin Fields. This is what they said no to on their 5th-year options to get rid of him. Mac Jones, another one of them. So, and obviously the first 4 in the 20 millions, and you drop down most of them in between 10 and 20 million in reality. So it's good to be a first rounder, but it's better for the team if you can re-sign them. But the re-signing numbers are the big difference in this as far as that is concerned. Anybody on this list that shocks you, Cuervo, as far as 5th-year options not picked up?
No, none of them really shock me. What I do see though is that the the four quarterbacks, if you look at it, none of them are on the team that they drafted anymore.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it shows Zach Wilson with the Jets logo, this must be an older picture because he's a Bronco now. So I thought it was really interesting that none of those guys are even on their team that drafted him anymore.
Yep. So I just it's really interesting. This is another business portion of the game that we're that we look at and stuff. Some other things that are some other things that are being talked about, and as far as who's going to do what and where they are. But I wanted to hop into this one really quick because you got Bo Nix. I wanted to know about what your wife's feeling about this pick is. At the number 12 pick, there is Bo Nix. What is your wife's feeling about him, or does she know of him, or she's just going to be a Denver Bronco fan and say, hey, he's a Bronco, I hope he does well. Does she have a take on it?
Yeah, that's kind of where she's at. She doesn't really know much about Bo Nix. She doesn't do college football. But I explained it to her. I'm like, he's a guy that, he's a couple years older than the other quarterbacks that got drafted. So he played a lot of college. And she was like, well, I hope he does good. And that was pretty much it. So
pretty much it. So the investment's not there until she'll see him play. Yeah. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, until she sees it.
You want to know my opinion about the players who take their fifth-year option?
Trey, what is your
Say that again?
I have no.
You're not his wife. I don't care what you think. I was asking about his wife. Are you a Denver Bronco fan? Yeah, that's what I thought.
He was talking about Sonny. He was talking about the fifth-year option guys.
Yeah, I never got to weigh in.
I do. Oh, wait. I have to apologize. So as far as I do apologize. So,
no, it's okay.
Godfather, here's an official apology, which you don't give out yourself, but at least I do. But yeah. You don't have to. So, all right. So back in here. Here's Ted Prescott. Now I don't know. If you know who Ted Prescott is. He happens to be one brother of Dak Prescott. And so he's got Dak at number 2. I think he needs to stop smoking and stop being biased, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen over him, and especially Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow. I would put Dak Prescott down at that number 7 level if I was Ted Prescott, if I was being honest about who my guy is. But granted, Dak Prescott going to get in between $55 and $60 million to play football next year, Cuervo, wherever that might be, whether it's a Dallas or another football team. So what do you think about the list outside of maybe Dak Prescott being number 2? Is he on to something here?
You know what? I'm going to defer to the Podfather and let him get his take in first in case we forget him again. So go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm good at that. So I think Jared Goff is a little low on this list, but Podfather, what's your take up on and he's your Dallas Cowboy quarterback brother. How do you feel about the list?
Why do I care what a brother who doesn't have any of the talent that Dak Prescott has worry about his top 10 list?
Come on, he's an expert. He's the brother of a quarterback that makes $55 million.
I'm glad he didn't make him number 1. I'm glad he didn't make him number 1, like a lot of others would. Now, look, I mean, clearly he's a top 10 quarterback, maybe. Is he top 5? Hell no. But
gotcha.
Can you put the list back on there real quick?
I'll put the list back up there for you.
Okay, I would go. If it was me, and if I had my own list and my own graphic, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, gonna go Joe Burrow to
I can't believe he has Joe Flacco in the top 10. I'm really confused about that.
No,
yeah.
I mean, clearly he's no Kirk Cousins, but no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a weird list to go through because everything's changed. I mean, I definitely would put C.J. Stroud at least above Joe Flacco right now, and I'm not saying Joe Flacco would be number 10.
I would think,
but I mean, at least in the top 15, maybe. You know,
maybe take Dak Prescott's name off and just slide it down behind Joe Burrow, and then maybe the list is okay. But as far as I mean, you can argue, the other ones, but I think he's got a little.
Honestly, I would put Josh Allen below Joe Burrow, and maybe put Dak below Josh Allen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Because Dak has done just as much as Josh Allen has. So,
all right.
Yeah, Joe Flacco wouldn't be on my list, so
he wouldn't be on my list. I guess. I mean, Cuervo, look at the list. What's your take upon, or do I need to put it back up so you can see it?
Yeah, I'll look at it again.
There we go.
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna stick with this until something happens, where a guy just completely takes over. But for me, Burrow's number 2. I would say Lamar can stay at 3. Josh Allen can stay at 4. Hell, I'd even move Goff up just because.
Yep.
How well he's resurrected his career in Detroit. Tua, you move down. Stafford, you move down. C.J. Stroud, you bring up. What about? Not that I'd put him in there, but for other people that aren't, unbiased with the Packers, maybe Jordan Love gets in that cracks the top 10. Rodgers, you move down. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, like I said, Burrow's number 2, and I think you can move Goff up some. I think Lamar and Allen are good where they're at. And I know there's somebody that we're not thinking of right at this moment that we're like, okay, he needs to be in the top 10 or pretty close to it. So yeah, this list is definitely off. Flacco needs to be gone.
I mean, Justin Herbert's not on the list.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. There's a name.
That's probably the reason why Baker Mayfield's
right
on there.
Exactly.
That's one glaring thing I'm seeing there.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. I probably have him in the top 10. Maybe
I would have him in there before Joe Flacco.
Definitely before Flacco and Matthew Stafford, and that just all depends on what he's going to bring. As of right now, I don't have Stafford. I agree with Cuervo. I bring C.J. Stroud up in that list and see where that ends up happening.
Here's another one. How much love do you have for Brock Purdy? Do you put Brock Purdy in the top 10?
Good point. Yes, Brock Purdy. Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Hey, he say whatever you want. He led him to a Super Bowl, and I don't care. Watson, if he's healthy, I don't know about that much. But say what? Is Kirk Cousins in that top 10?
Here.
What about
Jalen Hurts missing? Yeah, Kirk Cousins is missing.
On these CBS power rankings, here we go. Number 1, Brock Purdy. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Jalen Hurts. Number 6, Dak Prescott. Number 7, C.J. Stroud. Number 8, Jordan Love. Number 9, Matthew Stafford. Number 10, Tua.
Where's that list coming from? Who made that list?
CBS Sports.
CBS Sports. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just grabbed this one up because there was a graphic. I would have loved to see that graphic.
I would trust them over Pat Prescott's.
Oh, yeah. That list a little better.
But here you go. Number 11, Jared Goff. Number 12, Baker Mayfield. Number 13, Joe Flacco. Number 14, Mason Rudolph.
Wow, that's a little high for Mason, but yeah, I get it. That's outside of that. So, and now, all right. So we got the quarterbacks. What about the teams now? Where's I grabbed this up from Colin Cowherd. Here is the Colin Cowherd hierarchy in the NFL. I don't agree with two of these on the list. I think the Lions do need to go down a little bit. I know they're having success, but I think that's a heart pick. I don't think that's a good spot for them in reality. And I think even the Eagles being at number 8 until they figure out Jalen Hurts and where he is. Is he hurt? Is he not? Is he going to be the guy we saw last year? If it's the guy we saw last year, they'd be number 10. And I'm just going to base it on what I saw last year. Jalen Hurts makes that slide down to 10. I think you move the Detroit Lions down to 6 and move everybody up on the list. But not a horrible list in reality in the top 10. What are you looking at, Trey?
Oh, I mean, the Rams. They're better than the Niners.
Yeah.
Green Bay is better than Houston. I mean, the Bills and the Chargers can be like 1A and 1B, really, as far as like down at the bottom. But you don't put the Ravens over. I mean, I guess I kind of see the Ravens. I mean,
I'd probably move San Francisco to 3.
I mean, yeah, I'd move San Francisco to 3. I'd move the Lions to 4. I would take the Rams down to about 8. If I was dealing with the teams that are currently here and not trying to add any more or whatever else, I put the Packers at probably 8. Put the Rams at 7. And then put then that's a tough one.
I'd probably move the Rams down to 8 or 9 in reality, and that'll be based upon whether or not they can stay healthy with him. In reality, be Matthew Stafford.
Given what the Bills had to give up in the offseason, how are they 7th?
Yeah, exactly. Again, I don't know when this is. That the day? Nope, that's not the day. I'm not sure when he came up with this. No, it says post NFL draft, so we at least know that that's where his thinking is. So,
when did Colin change his last name? I thought he was Colin Cowherd. I thought he was Colin Cowherd.
So, now sometime he's a big LeBron James fan, so I would be able to see that. So yeah, cow turd. So Cuervo, what's your take? What's your look on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Colin's a little off his rail here, but
off his meds.
Top 2, I don't. Yeah, I think he didn't take his meds before he made this list, but I don't argue with 1 and 2. I think those are the 2 teams that need to be 1 and 2. San Francisco could probably be 3. Detroit, I'd say 4. I would say Houston would probably be in the top 5. I would probably slide. Green Bay's 32 for all I care, but I would probably slide them down.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, right. Let's see. I'm surprised we don't see Cincinnati in that top 10 now with Burrow coming back. I don't know if it's because you got questions about T. Higgins and Hendrickson. Are they going to get traded? Are they going to figure out a deal to keep them in Cincinnati? But I think the Bengals are going to be back. People are forgetting about the Bengals because Burrow got hurt. Don't sleep on the Bengals. They are going to be in the mix this year. As long as Burrow stays healthy, Jamar Chase stays healthy. So, people are forgetting really quick about the Cincinnati Bengals, and I get it because they're the Bengals. But, I think Buffalo goes down. I don't even think they're a top 10 team anymore.
I agree.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, they're too much love for the Bills still. I think this is more of a quarterback thing if you really look at this list than anything else because, you got Stafford, you got Jordan Love, you got Brock, you got Josh Allen, Hurts, C.J. Stroud, Herbert. He bases this list a lot on the quarterbacks and how they played towards the end of the season, in my opinion.
That it might be that I'm always interested in seeing what he says, because sometimes he says some interesting things, but I think he missed out on it as far as that's concerned, and that level. I think the line. I mean, yes, I love the fact that the Lions are there, but I still want to see them do a little bit more to earn that spot. That's why I'd put them middle of the pack around 5, maybe even 6, depending. But take away from that, is there now. What is going on in today's world as far as injuries are concerned is a big story. And here's one of the bigger stories that are out there as far as the NFL operations. And we've seen these helmets being used in preseason games. And the fact of the matter is that supposedly, depending on who you would listen to or agree with, that these head skulls are something. That's why I'm just our helmet skulls are definitely something that brings down the injury portion of this. I if it was flipped and that was on the inside and not the outside, I would think I understand that, because you still have the hard piece of plastic in between the pads of the helmet and then the actual helmet and then more pads. I would probably put it on the outside. I don't know. Is this something that we want to see as NFL fans, or Cuervo? Is it what's your I mean, because I'm about uniform and things of that sort, but I'm also players should be able to do whatever they want to protect themselves. But at some point, I don't know. What's your take upon the new helmet style? And I'll shoot that over to Trey Mack, because I was wondering if there is anybody on the team, the Dallas Cowboys, that would wear something like this. And I don't think Jerry. Well, I almost think that Jerry wouldn't allow this.
Me first or Cuervo?
I'm going to go with you first, because I want to hear about Jerry Jones, what you think about him.
Well, I don't care about Jerry Jones. Look, here's the thing. Visually, it's startling, okay? But if it's for players... By the way, you can't sit here and tell me you're about player safety when you don't like the kickoff roll. The new kickoff roll, or the pull down tackle, which you don't like that either. But there you don't care. You don't give a damn about player safety. The NFL's gone soft, but yeah, they want to put this on their head for player safety. You're fine with that? I mean, which is it? I mean, look, I wish there was a way to make the NFL safer for these players, so that when they turn 50 years old, they can still tie their shoe. Okay,
right?
I wish we could find a way, but that's not the game that they signed up for, unfortunately. And where does this? I mean, and where does it start? In Little League? In the Little League, or junior high, high school, college? They're not doing it there. So you're going to come to the pros
high school football? They've never used it, and I don't. And that being said, I don't even think they're in practices.
Well, here's the other thing: does that thing lower your speed as a player when you're running? Does that lower? I mean, now if you're able to bring that back and do helmet-to-helmet collisions, is it worth it? Or is it still you can't do that because, again, it's helmet to helmet, and even though we think this thing is safe, not okay with it. I mean, look, we've all played the NFL video games where they got the big bobblehead helmet going on here. Now we have the real life bobblehead. Okay? So,
yep.
Visual, like I said,
right.
Like I said, I understand it. I understand why they want to do it. Visually, that's like me and guys who wear black jerseys on top of black pants. I don't get it. You're not showing me you're a certain team. You're showing me that you cheaped out on a uniform. And this, I mean, if you're going to bring this thing in, then you have to bring back certain things that took away from the game that pissed off a lot of fans, like helmet collision.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be, I mean, having a bigger helmet's not going to stop you from carrying out an ACL or whatever else. But what if you're all of a sudden you're a little bit slower because this thing you can outrun your defender, but he's not wearing the thing which you are. He catches you every damn time. I mean, there's got to be that's like putting the governor on the truck, right? If you drive a big rig and your company says, look, you only go as fast as 60 miles an hour, but every truck is going 70, you're at the mercy of everybody else. That's all this is.
Interestingly enough, the Raiders have made their official one, all set and ready to go for the Raiders.
If they do that, I'm in.
yeah. This is, already in Las Vegas, their stadium looks like the Darth Vader's hat. That might work. For them over there.
Look, we took a page out of the Cowboys, and we got the Emperor as our leader. We live in the Death Star. It's kind of the same thing. So
kind of what is interesting to move forward in the thing. Hey, I wanted to throw this one out here too. Take a look at this. This was a part of the draft. I forgot to move this one up and get it in there. But interestingly enough, take a look at these numbers. I found the numbers interesting. More so than this is the way it's going to happen in Washington, because we all know what happened to RG3. We already know what happened to him. And this is sliding right down into the same exact thing in reality. Now, granted, you're talking 8 to 10 years later, different game, and more so than when RG3 played compared to today. Looking at the number of rushing touchdowns right there in college, same thing, Heisman winner, second overall pick, everything's the same. Interestingly enough, is it the same player? So, Cuervo, really quick, what's your take up on the helmets before you jump in this? I forgot to ask you about the helmets. What do you think about the helmets?
The helmet thing, so the NFL actually did authorize those things to be put on the helmets.
Yeah, put on helmets during the regular season games. Yes,
if you choose the word.
Richard in the chat. Yeah. I'm just surprised that,
Is he delayed there?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure it's not me. There we go. Say that again, Cuervo. You delayed out.
Yeah, that it goes into what I was going to say is that the NFL is okay with covering the helmet, like the logos on the helmets. That kind of surprises me.
Yeah, well, unless they, like Richard says, if they, get the logo on it somehow, as far as that's concerned in the NFL itself. So I find it interesting. I'm looking forward to week number 1 with that. And heck, even the preseason, if I watch a game. By the way, there's lots of shifting, talking about it going to 18 games now, going to 2 preseason games for the NFL. Cuervo, I wanted to get your take up on that because I wasn't a great big fan of the fact that they went 17 games. But, yeah, another payday for the players as well, because all they got to do is prorate it as far as what they make in each game. They get a little pay raise there for playing another game. 18 games too, and we kind of been talking about this for years. In reality, yeah, let's do 2 preseason games and let's get them in there playing. Let's start it up. I'm all about it. I'm ready. I'm ready for a two game preseason.
Yeah, but are the players?
Yeah, same.
So I'm just wondering if they're going to extend training camp an extra 2 weeks because of all the players that play in those games before they get into it. If they're going to extend training camp a couple weeks so they can keep watching guys. And I think what you'll get a lot of also inter-team scrimmages as well. Sort of how Dallas does the Chargers, right, Cuervo? I mean, I think
it's the Raiders.
Is it?
The Raiders.
No, I think it's the Chargers. Is it the Raiders?
Raiders for years.
Okay. All right. I'm obviously mistaken. But, I think we're going to see a lot of that. And I wonder how much they'll put that up on TV as well. Might be another option because the NFL, what do? They figure out a way to make money. If they go inter game team scrimmages, how can they make money off of that? There's a lot of different things I'm looking at, and a lot of moving mechanisms on as far as that.
But the big question is this: though, do the players want 18 games? Because
I doubt it.
With 4 preseason games, those are 4 games a lot of the stars don't even play.
Right.
Now you're asking them to tack on 2 extra games. That's, again, going back to player safety. That's more hits. That's more damage to your body. And let's face it, you're doing this all for money that's being prorated off your contract.
Yep.
So let's say you sign a $50 million deal to play 16 games in the regular season, or now 17. Now you got to do it for 18. So, bump the salaries up.
Well, yeah, the salary is going to go up. They prota is going to go up 1/17, and 1/18 in reality. So,
I read that
and I've seen that too. What Richard Sullivan's talking about, what they're shooting for President's Day.
Yeah, because they won't have Monday.
Hey, man, the Super Bowl used to be played near my birthday in January. Now they're going to stretch it to late February. Early February was bad enough. Now stretching it to
you better talk to NASCAR. You better talk to NASCAR people, because they thrive on the idea that they start their season a week after the NFL.
It's a good point too, and I don't know if they give a rip about what NASCAR likes or wants or needs, but that's more of Fox and the NFL. The kind of putting together with that. So I don't know.
That's a network.
So,
but then
again, network kind of thing.
But the thing is, they go to Fox, right? The NASCAR does. So you go to the Super Bowl, you got to at least hope to God that you can move the NASCAR to FS1, and
right,
and the NFL will take over or for that matter, Daytona 500 takes place. Well, it will take place during the day, and that would roll out 5 hours of Super Bowl pregame shit. So there is that part.
There's a positive. Trey says, "I get it." I don't know, Cuervo. Yeah. Do you see that as a problem, even moving it to President's Day? Are you about 18 games? I mean,
I'm not about 17 games.
I don't know why I don't even know why it would be later in reality. I mean, because unless they're going to start training camp 2 weeks late.
You going to start the season in August?
Well, I'm wondering, with them moving it to President's Day, isn't that the last weekend in February?
I mean, unless it's a 2 week, that'd be too long. A 2 week break in between.
Or if you
they'd have to start the year later if they're going to move the Super Bowl 2 weeks later than in reality, based upon. It's usually around the 1st of February, in the first part of February, right?
Right, but one thing you can also do is extend, and instead of having 1 bye week, have 2 bye weeks.
Yeah, and Richard Sullivan's making a point. They don't give a shit about NASCAR. They're walking over the NBA right now, taking the games off for Christmas. So I don't think that's taking an extra bye week. That's what they would have to do. It'd have to be 2 bye weeks and starting a week later. But still, it's taking it further into the
what you do
February.
is this: you complete the season, take a week off, start the wild card the next week, then have the team that clinched that division. They have 2 weeks off.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know if teams would like that. Cuervo, you think teams would get into that, or do you see a disadvantage with the long wait for the teams that won the division or the top 2 spots anyway?
And the wildcard team would love that.
An extra bye week in the playoffs.
Well, you get that. Yeah,
regular season bye week.
No, I mean, if you have 1 regular season bye week, which is fair, but then you go into the playoffs, you start off with an entire week off of no NFL, and then you kick off the wild card the following week. So every team's got a bye. Every team in the playoffs has that 1 week off. So now you prepare for the stretch of wild card, divisional, championship, and Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl's already got a week off anyway. So if anything, you've already fucked up the Pro Bowl, so you should do away with that already. Otherwise, you're going.
Yeah, it's not even a Pro Bowl anymore.
All right.
It's flag football, but I mean, that's even ground too. Is all the playoff teams get a week off, and then they start the wild card weekend. That's
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I maybe we'd have to just see what it looks like in real time, and then have an opinion from there.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
I just want you both say that I'm a genius. Go ahead.
Well,
I can take it. It's okay.
We are now moving in the day of technology and AI, right, guys? Artificial intelligence. Well, guess what? Artificial intelligence has predicted the next 10 Super Bowls. Here we go, guys. There you go. Here's your next Super Bowl based off of AI. And look where your Dallas Cowboys, 2028, they got to wait until 2028, Trey. And the Bears are going to make it back, according to AI, in 2031.
Sonny, you're dropping the ball here. You don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars on there at all, do you?
Listen, no, I noticed it, but I'm almost in agreement of that. So, but Richard Sullivan, good point, by the way. The week off loses money, but at the same time, they still get it back.
They find a way to get it back. They find
a way to make it back. I wonder, but your Bears right down there, Cuervo. My Jaguars not in. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in 2033. There's no Browns on here.
Bryce don't have that long to go. I'm sorry.
And there's no Browns on there, no Jaguars, no Arizona. Wow. AI. Wouldn't this be freaky if this ended up happening? I mean, this would. And then we'd hear all day long. Okay, how the NFL's rigged. I swear we would hear it all day long how the NFL's rigged out there. As far as that is concerned, I think it's funny.
Hey, go ahead and get your Super Bowl posters ready, because you know what teams are going to win. So you want to get your color schemes going for the next couple of years, so we'll know.
There you go.
In 2028, have the big star behind Super Bowl saying we know who's going to be there. So go ahead.
I found.
Hey, at the year the Bears go, just have a big bear sitting there going, "We're waiting.
We're waiting."
I mean, at that point, it might take Caleb Williams that long to figure out the league.
Yep. Exactly. So interesting. By the way, what was your take on this, Cuervo? Interesting thing. I just found out. I don't know if you wanted to comment on that.
Oh, I mean, the similarity is scary if you're a Commanders fan.
Yeah, and worried about him getting nailed and getting knocked out of the NFL within 5 years.
It inspires you for one good year. Not gonna lie.
So,
I mean, you look at that going, so you're saying we got a chance. Like you're
exactly. So there you go. I like that. Good stuff. Richard's been hanging out with us. We appreciate that. Some other things that I have found, and I want the draft busts, and I've got two of the draft busts on here. I want to put up here really quick. So it's the biggest draft bust from this one here is from Pro Football, whatever that is, and so. This was one I agreed upon. I'm almost right along with every one of them, although I think Justin Blackmon should be higher. And actually, the offensive lineman that the Jaguars got should be up there as well. But here was the other one, and they didn't. But this one since 2010, as far as the biggest one, they got Kevin White there with your Chicago Bears. Justin Blackmon again still there. As far as some draft pick misses, busts out, and things of that sort. So I see a lot of names in there, and I don't know if anybody's really missed in reality, unless one can pop in your head, guys. Is there anybody on there on these bust lists that are missed?
You got the Cowboys got last year sucks, so go ahead and put them on there. Mozzie Smith, or whatever the fuck his last name is.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, I always had him on there last year. But I mean, he was so irrelevant. I mean, nobody knows what his name is.
I'm not sure who that is. And would it be considered a big bust? I mean, how much they had invested?
Oh, well, Cowboys drafted him first, so I figured that'd be a big bust.
Yeah. Cuervo, looking at the Ryan Leaf was I have to swallow this every year. I always said take Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning, and I was definitely wrong about that.
Wow.
In reality, I said the Browns should have the most. You're right. Cuervo, not Cuervo, but Obi is probably loving this talk. Trent Richardson, one of them as well. So, yep.
Where's Johnny Football in this?
Say again?
Where's Johnny Football in all this?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess he was a first rounder. He was number 22, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember.
And Phil?
Yeah. Would you consider Johnny Football a bust there, Cuervo, in reality?
Oh, absolutely, because of all the hype that he had going into the draft.
Hype.
Heisman Trophy winner, all that stuff. He was Johnny.
Talked a lot of smack, got into a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the guy that we just saw the picture of prior to this? Where's RG3? Is RG3 not considered a bust?
That's one name that's on this list. That's a good point.
He had one great year, but then he just the league figured him out, and he was too injury driven to complete a career. So
yeah, but the hype, like Cuervo said, the hype of RG3 coming out of college, that was really big in reality during the time. So
the only thing better produced.
All right, I'm going to put up some other things. I got 4 more slides. They're pretty much interesting. So I'm going to let me see what. Let me put this down here.
Are you still going to talk about the? Are you still going to talk about the indoor football thing you started out the show with?
No, I'm gonna pass on that because of some of the things that I still have, because I wanted to get the look. I want you to Cuervo. And I'll start with you, and then I'll go to the Podfather. What's the first thing comes to mind when you think about Ray Lewis?
Deer antler spray.
I was going to say murderer. I don't know. Podfather, what's your Ray Lewis?
An active OJ.
All right, next one up. What's the first thing when you think about Ben Roethlisberger? I got mine. I'll wait for you, Podfather. Ben Roethlisberger.
I figured it was Chili's now, but didn't we go with a waitress at a restaurant or something?
The waitress rape thing is there. Cuervo, what's Ben Roethlisberger? What's the first thing
it sucks
that
too,
you think of?
It sucks too because he is a good quarterback. So
yeah, I'll play nice on this one. I think 2-time champion when I think Ben.
That'd be a good one. Because you know what? Honestly, we don't know what actually happened. That whole thing. We know that he paid her off or whatever, but you know. It sucks that will be his legacy to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it is. By the way, that is a legacy for a lot of people.
I remember my former co-host on Officers TV, Kevin. He always called him Ben Raplesberger. So I mean, that's still got in his name.
What's the first thing is me seeing him? He's one of the toughest quarterbacks ever. This guy would dive for the touchdown, go head over heels. This is the guy that went into it. So I'll play nice on Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, when I say this, I know I'll get some messages, but if you can get paid off from those accusations, it wasn't a real accusation. That's just the way I'll put it, and I'll go with it. I might be wrong or not, but the last one that I picked up here, my favorite guy, mine's just overrated. Mine's overrated, and not a Hall of Famer, Cuervo.
Oh man, I can go so many different ways with this one.
Do it.
I'm gonna say nap time. Sonny knows why I say that.
Oh, I love it! I freaking love it!
I don't think Trey was with us yet. I don't think he was joining us on a consistent basis. I know you knew him back then, but
hey, I'm still not a co-host.
Yeah, I was coming back. We were coming back from like a little break or whatever, Trey, one time, and we had already been talking about Frank Gore. And I was like, sorry. I was like, I fell asleep watching Frank Gore YouTube highlights. So that's why I said nap time.
Yeah. So, do you have an opinion there, Podfather, or what's the first thing you think of when you think of Frank Gore? Or do you?
It's the guy who stuck around and got his yards.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a good point too. Stuck around, just like LeBron James stuck around to finally get past, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
But you know what though? Here's the downfall of that. I say something about Emmett, because Emmett, when he broke that record, he was nowhere near the running back he was years before.
Absolutely.
So, he lost a step, and he was able to break. Now, to his credit, he broke that record with a very shitty team. I think Chad Hudson was his quarterback, or either him or Drew Henson. It was that bad. So, you're talking the 5-11 years. You're talking, where is the team going to go? This is the afterthought in the NFL. And this is the highest paid franchise in the league. But for him to do what he did, and even gain more on that for about a year over in Arizona, look, he stuck around a long time.
Yeah.
So he got his yards. He got his.
That's why I always thought Walter number 1, Emmett 2. And if Walter had the offensive line that the Dallas Cowboys, no one would have caught him.
Go so far to say if Barry Sanders had the line the Cowboys had.
Yeah,
you're talking Barry Sanders,
right?
But
good point too. The longevity, as far as that.
But here's the thing, though. Barry would have had that record with that offensive line. Retired at the same time he retired. Just hadn't had enough. And everybody would still be chasing him. See, you
Cuervo. Oh,
no, you cut me off. It's okay.
Complete that thought.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
I'm going to say now, but I'll just get on.
No, you said go on. I did. All right, Randy Moss there, Cuervo. This is your boy.
you want to stir the pot, don't you, Sonny?
Yeah. No. I'm not going to stir the pot at all. Not me.
Okay.
No.
When I think of Randy Moss, the first thing that comes to mind, wide receiver GOAT. And I'm not getting off of that. I'm not getting off of it. He's the greatest receiver. He is the greatest.
I was going to say number 5, but okay, that's good. That
wide receiver GOAT.
5th best wide receiver in NFL history. Yeah, I 5th.
Podfather.
Podfather, what's your
a missed opportunity?
He's thinking of Trey. I'm telling you, Trey's thinking about what could have been.
Yes. Yes.
I was waiting for it.
Dude, there was a good chance that had he been around when Aikman was in the twilight of his career, Aikman could have lasted one more year with him, I think. Because he would have racked up a whole lot of numbers. But here's the thing, though. Michael Irvin was the great receiver for Troy because of one person. It wasn't Emmett. It was Jay Novacek. Because Novacek opened the game up for Irvin to do his thing. That's what Troy would need to have to make him and Randy Moss work. I don't think he had.
It was the guy with the mustache. Him too.
Who, Harper?
Harper?
Not Harper.
Kevin Williams?
No. Who's the one that just got put in the Hall of Fame as the wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys?
Drew Pearson.
Drew Pearson, yeah. Drew Pearson. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, you had
that was earlier. That was earlier. Probably probably
earlier.
not up there.
But I mean, but the thing is, Randy Moss would have been great as a Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
But Troy needed something extra. He needed a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Now he could have probably made more. I mean, I think he had Eric Bjornsson at the time, which is not an upgrade over Jay Novacek.
Of course not.
He had a big old alligator arms. He just flopping all over the place. But he didn't have the right guys around him. The offensive line was beat up. Coaching was an issue at the time. I mean, he just dealt with Barry. Now he's got to deal with Dave Campbell and whoever else came, Chan Gailey at the time. So it's a missed opportunity. Jerry's biggest mistake as the owner of the Cowboys.
Probably,
all because of what he feared that happened to Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was. But you created that
climate. Another one for Cuervo.
I mean, you created that climate there for the Cowboys. So what did you expect?
Got another one for Cuervo. Here you go, Cuervo. I was thinking about you with your Randy Moss. I still had you in my top. These are the top two, and and by the way, I am in agreement with the order. Not necessarily who's the best, but this order I'm in agreement with, except Randy Moss and Wes Welker. I would drop them down to about 8. Maybe 9, but Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Listen, it didn't get much better than that.
There's one tandem that's not on the list, and maybe there's a reason why. I think they've been kind of forgotten. It's back when the Washington Redskins had Art Monk and Alvin Garrett. Those two.
Yeah. Hey, way to go! I thought I went old school a lot. That's Cuervo. He just stole my old school title almost right there.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. What?
Yeah. I mean, I like the list too. And I'm not just saying that because of Randy being at the top, but I mean, Chris Carter's a Hall of Famer too. I don't think John Taylor's in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is. Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden. Listen, if it was any other team besides the Arizona Cardinals, that would have been the Super Bowl win. Well, they should have won the damn Super Bowl over the Cowboys that year, but that's another story for another day. And I like the position of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for what they have done, but more in the fact if they can figure out how to keep T. Higgins on that team. No? Too high?
Too high. How are you gonna have
Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne? Yeah.
Harrison and Reggie Wayne, who got to 2 Super Bowls together.
Yep.
How?
Yep. I was thinking more future. It's a want for a future, but yeah. So
I remember the Mark Clayton, Mark Duper years.
Mm-hmm.
The Marx brothers, right? That's the nickname.
Yeah.
Yep. And what would we be without a sighting of stupidity from one man, Antonio Brown? Look at this quote. Now, I get the guy was good, and that being Antonio Brown, but man, what is the bitch slapping and shitting all over Hines Ward for? I'm missing. Has he gone off his drugs again, Cuervo?
I think so. Hold on, I got to read the rest of it. I'm constipated, and I'm still. I had to deal with more adversity and more criticism. Yeah, because you were a problem. Hines Ward was never a problem.
Never.
He never gave anybody a problem. And by the way, he was a much better overall player than Antonio Brown was.
Wow. So more overall player or wide receiver?
A lot better rounded receiver than Antonio Brown. When it comes to a pure receiving standpoint, Antonio Brown, yeah, he's right. Hines Ward can't mess with him. But Hines Ward did a lot more than Antonio Brown did. The other parts of his game were, I mean, just light years ahead. Light years better.
Fully agree with
Hey,
you.
I have a question. Who played opposite side of Terrell Owens for Philadelphia?
In Philadelphia, it was oh God.
I can't think of who it was off the top of my head. Google knows. Ask Google. Google should know.
Oh, that's Siri. Okay.
All right.
Who did Terrell Owens play for with the Philadelphia Eagles?
The Eagles actively pursued premier
I
wide
don't
receiver
care.
Terrell Owens.
Shut up, bitch.
And I'm not sure who would have been, but if it was somebody,
because
unless this is flying over our head, I would know who it was if it was worth a shit.
there's got to be a reason why he was open for that much, right? Right, but I mean, you got to figure, he was open so much.
I got it.
With him at the time.
Who is it, Cuervo?
Okay, who was it?
Todd Pinkston was the other receiver. And then you had
He was
Chad
solid.
Lewis at tight end. And you had Freddie Mitchell, too. Freddie Mitchell is who I was thinking of. Freddie Mitchell.
Mm. You
Wouldn't
had
put
two
him
solid
on the-
D players.
Yeah,
and you
and
had
that's when they had Brian
Yeah,
Westbrook at running back, too.
Yeah, and you want to talk a guy taken away from because of injuries. Holy smoke. Westbrook was a damn accident waiting to happen.
Well, they had a player on their defense that I got to play in high school against, Bobby Taylor. We drove out to Longview, Texas to play them on their third game of the season. And the first 3 minutes of the game, Bobby Taylor, 21, Newman Smith, 0. So it was like he was dominating as a high school player. And to watch him go to Notre Dame and have him go to the Eagles, I mean, I don't like that he played for the Eagles, but I can't hate the guy, because he was a solid player all the way around. Definitely should be a Hall of Fame consideration. I think he did a lot in the NFL to warrant that. Now, how you view a safety might be, or a cornerback might be different, but I mean, he did put up some numbers.
I wouldn't know if it would be enough to be Hall of Fame worthy, but notable, like if they had a Hall of Good where they could put, Frank Gore with him in there, pairing up a Hall of Good. Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
Well, let's find out. Bobby Taylor.
So, there we go. Wow, 3 hours. Knocked it out of the park. I know. That's what your wife is doing, right? She's going, hey, hey. Yeah, so, but let's get on out of here. Let's let him get to the hey, we got shit to do kind of thing. And Podfather needs a nap and, to get I hope you're feeling better. I feel bad that you feel bad. Yeah. But
I'm dying. It's okay.
If get what you need. Yeah, exactly. Some soup. Some soup sounds good, actually. All right, so that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We'll keep you up to date on when we're going to get that Shepherd interview. That's going to be a lot of fun for me. I'm going to go see him. By the way, Cuervo, June 2nd, we will not be on air. I'm going to the Shepherd concert that day, and it's in the afternoon. So we won't be on air that day, so you kind of know you got that day open. Outside of that, anything that anybody wants to talk about before we're out of here, Cuervo, anything I miss or that we should, slap me in the face kind of, you should have known this?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything going on in the NFL. We didn't talk any baseball, but it's just baseball season. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean, who is it? By the way, thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Good show. But I am going to end this on something. I don't know if you've seen it, Cuervo, so I'm going to end it on this. So we'll say goodbye. Father, always good to see you. And we're going to end this.
I got something to add.
All right. Well, you want to? I was gonna. I'm adding you to the end here, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm just saying. Look, after last night, my team, the network, proved that we are in fact the team of the OIWA, if not Sword Championship Wrestling, and we're back in the Sword Tag Team Title Tournament, which we shouldn't even have a tournament because they were taking those belts were taken off us because they couldn't find anybody to take us on. So now that we have to get in contention to take on whoever for these titles, it's ridiculous. But last night, my boys went out there. They destroyed our opponents. They showed a mean streak they've never seen, that no one's ever seen before. And I was so happy to see us get the 1, 2, 3 at the end. And let me tell you, Podfather shirts will be available relatively soon.
And speaking of that, when the Podfather and I were at our top, we're going to leave you with this little video of me and the Podfather. We'll see everybody next week. We will be on air. Enjoy this. Hey, Cuervo, you might have seen this. This was me meeting a world heavyweight champion.
Of course, it's Jerome Daniels here tonight, trying to get his championship back.
First of all, get it straight. He is the champion of the world. First off. Second of all, wait a minute, we're being drunk.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What did you say I was? How did you address me? You know what? Stop stuttering. Let me tell you how you're going to address me. I am the sore heavyweight champion of the world. Everybody that's come before me that's had this title has only been a sore champion. I'm the one who took this overseas. I'm the one who defended it in the UK. I am the sore heavyweight champion of the world. Do you understand? Stop stuttering. Do you understand?
Yes.
How will you address me from here on out?
The sore heavyweight championship, sir.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Of the world, sir.
What he told you?
Yes, he did. I guess we're going to go right to the ring for the first match.